Greetings and salutations, friends, as I think the thing is working. One never knows with YouTube, but one simply has to hope and pray.
We can only pray.
We can only pray. Kyle once again was out driving on his non-spiked tires in the middle of winter because he is a retard, and that is the reason for our delay.
That has nothing to do with it. I didn't get into an accident. I'm just telling you, Southerners come up north and they're like, oh, what's this icy road? Drive normally. And they flip upside down. That's what you get.
What should happen, frankly.
It's
the
winter.
amount of road accidents in Norway each year, which has nothing to do with Norwegians, but like most of okay, one of the worst things about Norway is, despite having fucking no road infrastructure because there's mountains everywhere, we never built out a rail infrastructure either. So practically all of like the day necessities, like deliveries of foods to the supermarket, etc., all of this is done via truck. And since Norwegian truckers ask to be paid, a living wage in Norway, most of these truckers come from Poland and places, and they drive here on just regular ass tires, and it doesn't work. Like, it's a massive fucking trailer. Once it starts slipping, it don't stop slipping.
It ain't gonna stop once it goes. Oh, it's always funny though. It's like anytime it's hard raining, people hydroplane. If it's icy, people like. Whenever it first happens, like in the beginning of winter, there's always people in the ditch. Always, every year.
Like, you are legally required to put chains on your truck whenever you cross into Norway. I think from like, is it November or is it October that this starts? Like, it's regulation. You have to. And nobody does it. It's just again and again, Polish truck drivers just driving off the fucking road. Ay.
Yeah.
Poland has much to answer for. If only Germany had conquered them when they had the chance.
It's okay. We'll give them Silesia and Ponzan back, whatever. Make Poland small again. Get that trade.
Indeed. Make Poland small again.
Little dot.
Alright, so today's first topic is a bit of a hopeful one. So I officially hereby declare, and enter it into the registry and everything, that Henry Cavill is my spirit animal, because he seems to do everything I want him to. And therefore he's now my property. As much as any spirit animal can be.
Yep. We'll be abducting him not too long from now.
Probably, yes. See, because I've been bitching about this for a while now, that superheroes need to get back to being superheroes instead of whatever the hell they are in modern iterations. Superman in particular. Like, the Man of Steel stuff was... It wasn't an abject disaster, I guess. In a way, Man of Steel was actually kind of controversial because it came at the end of the era where the dark, gritty superhero was popular, when everyone was doing it. And there was a point when that was innovative. It's like, wow, a superhero with grit. Rrr. But Man of Steel came in right at the end of that, and he was perhaps one of the gritty movies. First of all, was because it's filmed in that modern day filter where everything is dark. Like, there's the scene of Superman in the desert, like with the sun beating down, and it's still dark.
Yep. It's like they threw a filter on it, because a lot of games do that. Like even Attila or Rome 2, where it's like, oh, we need to convey the atmosphere of the environment, so everything's gonna be brown.
Like, you don't know. If you did the scene correctly, I would pick up on the atmosphere.
Oh God, chat, you know this too. American Hollywood, whenever they have a film that takes place in Mexico, they throw on like a what is it, a green filter over everything, and it's like, why? It's like, we're in Mexico, we're entering the green filter zone.
Okay, all right, I found it here. I'll send you the screenshot of that scene, right? Because look at this. It's in the desert. It is in the motherfucking desert. Like, the Abrams in the background is positively radiating with how fucking it's glowing. And then you got Superman in the foreground, and his suit is almost black. Like his S is muted colors. The yellow is muted. The only dash of color is his cape, almost.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, he looks very... I don't know, but the design of his suit looks very...
Grimdark.
Grim-dark. You notice how they try to put a lot of details on it, so it highlights, like, fake muscle undertone underneath the, I don't know what the material is called, that fabric. Sort of almost looks like some sort of, like, mail, almost. Like, very fine mail.
Kinda. Like, I'm presuming they're aiming for, like, nano material or something gay like that. I sent you another one here, and again, you can see how fucking dark his suit is. And again, why do they do this? It's because this is the dark and gritty version of Superman. It's fucking stupid. It's like, okay, what I do for most of my thumbnails is I mess around with the brightness and the vibrancy and the contrast, because YouTube murders anything and everything. So if you don't up everything by 200%, it ends up looking like the darkest fucking night. And the screenshot I managed to get of, like, or the official art piece of this, I got one from the movie, and I couldn't make it look not dark. So eventually I had to go and get somebody else's art to make something that could be visually seen as Superman.
Is that what you used for the thumbnail?
Yes.
Okay, because that was much more vibrant than this. By a lot.
Yes, like that is somebody else's art piece. It's so stupid. It is so dumb. And again, it's Superman. He's not supposed to be grimdark. And so Henry Cavill apparently now has been lobbying pretty hard, saying that he's going to do Superman if it's a actual Superman, like a bright, vibrant version of Superman, rather than the muted tones version that he's been doing up until this point.
I also noticed something after staring at this picture. The color as a whole, they do have a filter on it where they're desaturating it. It's almost like a blue... There's a blue hue to everything.
Yeah, it's that cold tint.
Yep.
I swear to God, like, this is a thing in... okay, here's an even better example, actually, that I'll send you. There you go. Again, we're in the desert. And everything just looks cold and blue and muted.
I think I remember seeing the first Henry Cavill Superman, and that was actually pretty disinteresting. I remember, like, leaving in the middle of it because I was bored.
It wasn't very good.
No.
It also took a very long time to get to the point, and Superman's spaceship just looks like an alien spaceship.
Why does he have a spaceship? I can't remember.
He landed in a space capsule, and apparently in this universe, Daddy sent a ride, and so there's a spaceship.
Yeah, but he's Superman. He can go into space. He doesn't need a spaceship.
Well, he didn't know that yet, now did he?
That's so stupid. This is a being that is apparently like a demigod. Like, it is capable of flying through space, not being affected by the radiation or anything.
His daddy couldn't do that, now could he?
Well, I thought he was
Silly
Kryptonian,
Kyle.
wasn't he? Or whatever the fucking called, Kryptonians.
Yeah, but his daddy's dead, Kyle.
His daddy's dead? Was his daddy Kryptonian or what?
Yeah, but the Kryptonians aren't super people, Kyle. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, they are. Aren't they all super?
No, they're not.
What?
Kyle, they
I
only
don't know
become
these
super
lore.
under a yellow sun.
Under a yellow sun? Oh my god.
I swear to God.
Oh, I'm such a fucking boomer. I have no
You
idea.
are.
My world is upside down. I was like, yeah, they're
Oh
like
my
all
God.
super people, right? And now it's like, no way. All right, guys.
Embarrassing.
I have no idea. I don't... Listen, I have a good excuse this time. I don't know. I don't watch superhero stuff. Outside of, like, cartoons and movies, I don't read the comics. You can't be mad at me. You can't.
I want you to know, I disavow this. Fully
Listen.
and wholly.
Listen, okay? I liked video games growing up, all right? Fair enough, right? Fair enough is what you should be saying. Guys, come on. Give me some slack here. Just because I didn't watch Superman, all right? Besides, Superman was never that interesting, okay? Now I'm going to start attacking Superman, attacking chat. We need to switch to the offensive. Red sun equals normal, yellow sun equals superpower. That is... How does that even make sense?
I'm sure they explained it at some point.
The yellow sun is very yellow, and so its yellowness is very empowering. It's true. Maybe it's the master race, you know what I mean? Under the master sun. There. Now everyone's confused.
But this also seems to lend credibility to the other rumor that was flying around a little while ago as well. Because there's been some weirdness going around here, right? Because Cavill was quitting The Witcher, which came a little bit of sudden because he'd previously said that he'd do The Witcher for however long it took, right? And it's been a fairly successful show, almost purely due to him. So it's a steady meal ticket. He's probably earning a good deal of bank off The Witcher, right? And yet he quits that before it seems like he's fully landed the Superman gig. Because when he announced that he was coming back as Superman, it was for the Black Adam movie, which is apparently bombed massively. The DC cinematic universe is in a very sad state, and they're going to try and fix it now, I guess, which will be interesting to see.
I don't think they can. I'm going to interrupt you there. They've been...
Well, we'll actually get to that in a second, because that's another interesting topic as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But he quit The Witcher, and then there was also this woman who was apparently working on the Flash movie, which is and isn't happening at the same time, apparently, because Ezra Miller, the Flash, is a child molester or something. Like, that whole story has been an epic saga of pretty damn ridiculous proportions as well. Like, he's being accused of being a groomer. He, of course, denies it. The young girl in the picture denies it as well, whilst having apparently lived at his house and shit. I'm like, okay. Very well. But this chick who was working on that Flash movie said that no, he's not Superman. It's not official. Like, he hasn't got the job yet. So, like, who knows what's happening here? But then another rumor appeared that seemed to suggest that, well, back in the day when Cavill first got the role for Geralt, he said that he would continue to do the role for as long as the writers continued to respect the character. And now, after season 3, without apparently having a clear job to go to, he's quitting this role. It's very interesting, isn't it?
I think the whole thing is a mess. Like, the superhero stuff as a whole, like Marvel and DC. DC has never been able to find their footing. Marvel lucked out, I think, with, like, the Iron Man stuff. Because I can't think of... Oh, I guess. Never mind. Wasn't that one Batman with... Was it Christian Bale? Is his name right? I can't remember his name. You know the guy I'm talking about, and Heath Ledger. That was like the one that was received the best, right? When it comes to the DC movie adaptations of their stuff.
Oh, let's see.
Because I'm trying to think here, like, what has DC produced in their cinematic universe that's been good? What was the last thing that was good? Like, actually, not okay, but good. Really good. Because I can't think of anything.
I'm actually trying to look up, like, their release order here. Because the suggestion obviously was that Cavill quit his job because they were mistreating The Witcher, which seemed accurate because they were not treating The Witcher very well. And there was also leaks coming out that apparently, this was from one of the writers, I think, saying that the entire, like, showrunner team would just openly mock The Witcher and mock the books, and they were clearly not interested at all.
I mean, but that sucks, but that is a certain karma that author gets mocked, because he's fucking woke as hell.
Yep.
But that's still shit. Because it's sucky for the people that actually care about the IP.
It is. But it seems halfway reasonable to assume that Cavill might actually have dropped out because he didn't like the way they were going. Now, part of me is like, could he really be that good of a dude? It's like, oh, you're screwing over my favorite character. Fuck you. It's like, really? Does he have that much principles? Like, I feel almost mean for saying it, but like, really, like the first Hollywood dude who would rather do right by a character than receive a paycheck. It's almost too good to believe, isn't it?
Well, I'd like to believe there are actually more actors out there with some actual spine and actually care for their career. But it is something that I think the rotten eggs always rise to the cream of they're the top of the barrel, so to speak. Like, they're just nasty. But it is rare to see an actor that actually cares about something. Same with, like, to tie back to Judge Dredd, or oh god, I always get his name mixed up. Christopher Lee, in general, just actually putting so much actual talent and skill into his work and care, like he did with Gandalf. Or not Gandalf. I'm having a hard time today, okay?
Saruman, you mean?
Saruman. I don't know. Alzheimer's is hitting me.
An idiot.
Names are hard today. It's not a good day.
I want to hope, and to be fair, he has a history as a hardcore nerd, so it might be possible. Like, Carl Urban was the same. Now, to be fair, Carl Urban is a bit more of a B-lister than Henry Cavill is. But then again, Cavill too was basically non-existent until Superman, so I don't know how to rank him necessarily. But Carl Urban is very much so on the idea that he needs to portray the character correctly. Again, that's why he refused to take his helmet off as Judge Dredd.
Also,
very good boy.
You know who Kevin Sorbo is, right? Speaking of
He-Man.
fun actors. Yeah.
Kyle?
Well, He-Man, you're not spreading.
You're infecting me now. Hercules.
Hercules.
To be fair, he would have made an okay He-Man too.
He also played Dylan Hunt in Andromeda, which is it's an interesting science fiction show. It's like, let's restore the Roman Empire in space is what the idea is behind that one. That's what he went on to do. Worth checking out. Last season's a bit potato, though.
The potato.
Yeah, it's spreading, chat. I'm sorry, we're all becoming retarded. It won't be a long chat until you catch the bug, too.
It will not. Yeah, I guess there are some actors that give more of a shit about their credibility than the paycheck. It's just, they're heavily outnumbered, if that's the case. Because, okay, let's then move over to the DC, the DC, what is the official title? Because it's DCEU, isn't it? Like, is it, Extended Universe? Extended DCEU?
DCEU?
Google says yes.
DCEU is what it's called. Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
Google says DC Extended Universe, so I'm going to assume that's correct. Because that is what we're actually talking about here. Because a lot of people bring up, like, the previous Batman movies. Those aren't actually a part of this at all. Because the DC Extended Universe was going to be DC's attempt to rival the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that began with Man of Steel in 2013, according to this list I found here. Now, Man of Steel was not a failure. Kinda. See, I gotta... It didn't flop, in its own way, I suppose. But it's also not a movie that's going to be remembered by anyone. It's going to be like that Superman movie where Superman was a little bit weird. Like, that entire movie has like two memorable sequences. It's that one where Superman acts like a bit of a dick and impales a dude's truck on a bunch of logs because he was mean to a chick. And when he snaps Zod's neck. And that's about all I remember from that movie.
I don't remember anything.
There you go.
I'm drawing a I remember the filter. I remember everything being
I
blue.
also remember it took way too long to get to the fucking Superman part. That annoyed me too. Like, I hate superhero movies that draw out the superhero. Because I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's like, oh my god, he's gonna be cool soon. Just get to the cool soon part. Thank you.
Exactly. You have like an hour, 2 hour movie, right? And you spend an hour and a half of just like, let's build it up. And that's okay and can only work if you have competent writers. Like, the only time I remember that ever being good was the first Iron Man origin movie. That was awesome. That was actually awesome.
The thing is, that didn't actually take that long to get to the hero either, because
Yeah.
The hero begins when he starts building his Iron Man Mark 1 suit, which is only like 10, no, not like 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
maybe?
because he gets captured pretty early into the movie by the terrorists, and then he has to build a suit to escape.
Yeah, it doesn't actually take that long. And that was then followed by Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, which not only has an awful name, but was also a pretty fucking potato movie. Like it was a thing, that's for sure. Oh, and the ending too. Like, why doesn't he kill Superman? Well, because he goes like, Martha, like that's my mom's name too. We must have something in common.
Listen, I don't know. I have no idea how to justify that. It's gonna play devil's advocate, but there's like, I mean, you know, they both have the same mom, and maybe they just both triggered a sad emotion.
Is also that there's another screenshot of it. 'Cause there's also the fact that they introduced Batfleck, and I actually thought Batfleck was pretty cool. Like I thought Ben Affleck did a pretty damn good job as Batman, which is a controversial opinion, but I quite liked him. But the problem is he just appeared, and then he was like, Superman bad, must kill. Like, really? What has he done? Like, I know he's gonna do something at some point. It's like a bit of a vague motivation there for Superman to break his do not kill rule. Stop Superman, Batman, I mean, yeah.
That fucking power armor though was special. The fact that he actually like welded on fucking bat ears.
Listen, he's Batman. Okay, I get it. It's fine.
It's gotta have the bat bit. Like they serve for no function. But
the more retarded part is that it could take a hit from Superman to begin with. Like that's the action. Because, I mean, Iron Man's suit is basically bullshit magic. Okay, it contains like things, cancels out physical force. Like magic. But Superman's bat suit is just fucking armor. Like it should have crumpled in one hit, but details.
He's like, and like his face is exposed. Like kinetic energy from Superman. Based on what I've seen from the cinematic stuff, like if he hits something, like his organs are pulp. You're dead.
Pretty much.
Like if he really wanted you dead, you're gone.
Batman v Superman, it should have been the climactic end of a long-standing series. It should have been a build-up. It should have been these two characters doing their thing. Instead, the sequel to Man of Steel is a Batman v Superman movie. Like, it cheapens both characters because this is just pretty much like superhero deathmatch at this point. It's a bigger budget YouTube video.
Yeah, basically. Unironically, it's like those videos. Like go Google like Batman versus Superman, and like you'll see a lot of fan stuff. And you'll see some official stuff, but you'll also see a lot of like fan made things. Whenever you do that, it's like Darth Vader versus the Emperor of Mankind. Like it's really cringy. made in the span of like 15 minutes. Maybe the dude even commissioned an artist for it. You know. It's one of those things where it's like that's not very good. But I think. Honestly, what we should talk about, what looks to this, what would have been cool, is try to do what George Lucas did with Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship, and build a relationship between these two characters over time, and give us a reason why, what was the thing that they couldn't compromise on, the line that they couldn't cross, but the other did, or something like that. And that's the thing that drove it over the ledge. And then build that up over a couple of movies. Like the first couple of movies... The first movie shouldn't even hint at the fact that that's going to happen. The second movie should start laying the groundwork for that, and then maybe the third movie tops it off, or maybe, you know, one or two more. It really depends on... Just pace it out naturally. Don't rush it, because it's like, everybody wants to rush it because they want the... It's easy to sell something. Like, the marketing team's going to love it. Like, oh, look, there's Batman, there's Superman, they're fighting. That's great marketing material. But story-wise... It carries no merit, it carries no weight because you didn't build it, you didn't earn it.
It's also because they were in a rush, because they knew they were losing to Marvel, and they needed the big blockbuster to try and gain ground, but in the process they only fell even further behind.
Yeah.
The next one released in the same year was Suicide Squad, which was dumb. Like, it was just stupid, but... It was also kind of intended to be stupid. So, I don't know.
I mean, if that was the... Wasn't it supposed to be like a comedy or something?
Kinda. All right. So you got Will Smith as Deadeye, and I don't even care. It's like, okay, fine. It's the current year, and at least Will Smith's cool, so that's something. And he does have a history now for unprovoked violence. So there you go.
He's a criminal, yeah.
Yep, correct. And the movie it existed. It was very forgettable. I actually liked Suicide Squad 2 a lot more because it fully embraced the fact that it was a stupid comedy. And it actually had some decent comedic moments. It also dragged like hell in pieces, but it could have been worse, I guess. See, that's kind of that is the problem, isn't it? The catch line, the catch line of the entire DC extended universe is it could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
That's its catchphrase. Like, it could have been worse.
I mean, at least it's not as bad as it could be.
Yes.
Oh my god. I mean, compared to where Marvel is right now, that is a win, even if that doesn't matter that much.
The thing is, now Marvel is just trundling along on inertia, pretty much. That's about it.
Yeah, they've run out of steam. They can't accelerate, and it's going to be that great gradual decline that we're already beginning to see with them.
Yep. This was then followed up by Wonder Woman, which is yet another entry into it. I guess it could have been worse. Another thoroughly forgettable movie.
Yep.
The best I can say about almost any of these is that they weren't a train wreck, I guess.
They were... See, is it... There's something to be said about that, isn't it? Like, is it better to be a good movie or a bad movie so bad that everyone wants to see it? Like, you become a meme.
It's like, at least both of those are better than...
Mediocre.
Just mediocre.
Because mediocre is like, you see it and you're like, I feel nothing, and then you just leave and forget about it.
And that is very much so the space that DCEU occupies, because after that we had Justice League, which, see, again, this is how badly they rush it, right? Because Batman v Superman should be movie 4 out of like 3 movies for each of the 2 main characters, And then you've got Suicide Squad as just a weird, like, comedy mix-in for a low-budget laugh. All right, fair enough. Then you establish Wonder Woman in her own little half-ass movie. Okay. That still leaves... what the fuck is the name of the fish person again? Namor? Poseidon?
Oh, God.
Nemo?
Why did you
Nemo.
stop
We'll
it?
call him Nemo for now.
It's Aquaman, isn't it?
That still leaves Nemo and Blackbot.
Nemo.
And... like, Nemo did get a movie eventually, but it was awful. And I don't think Blackbot has gotten a movie at all. Which, to be fair, he's also the weakest of all of the characters. So I get, like, to be fair, I have always hated Cyborg. Like, he's just a boring fucking hero. Like, I am robot. Oh, cool.
Wasn't he in the Teen Titans cartoon?
Was he?
I think so. Chat, yes, he was. That's Cyborg dude, right? Because he was cool in there.
I have never watched the Teen Titans. Oh, Jesus, I just Googled it. Yeah, no, I have never, nor will I ever watch this.
I was a kid. You can't judge me. I watched Courage the Cowardly
can.
Dog. I'm based. And that... I'm cringe. And that's based. There's no one else I'd rather be than me.
And, okay, the Snyder Cut is a better movie than the Justice League. It's also like 4 hours long, so there's that.
What is the Snyder Cut? I don't know anything.
It's
I don't know.
It's the director's preferred version of the movie, and it adds in a lot more scenes that actually gives a lot more context to what the F's going on. And it makes a lot of the movie make a lot more sense, but it also makes the movie just goddamn enormous.
Yes,
Let me see.
Oh my god. You triggered the shit out of it. Oh, it's fine.
Who's triggered now?
I as I'm sitting here looking at this picture and I'm just admiring the water like splashing off this piece right there, I notice that chat on the right just zooms as they're spurging out. The Snyder Cut is
Kyle,
more
I've given you
memorable.
more pictures. Why haven't you been doing the pictures, Kyle? Dumbass, Kyle.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by the fact that that's just so stupid.
We were supposed to have relevant pictures. I've given you relevant pictures, Kyle.
Oh my god, that is the cyborg dude, but he looks lame. He looks super lame.
I'm trying to look up how long the fucking 4 hour. I wasn't kidding.
4 hours.
4 hours, 2 minutes.
That's a meaty movie. I like me an epic.
Chad is probably arguing the most on this. Like, I thought it was a better movie than the original cut because it did give more context. But at the same time, it's kind of the same question we're currently having with Dark Tide. How many hours do you need to slog through to get to the good bits?
Ideally, I will use this as a reference. Ideally, the Lord of the Rings movies, you remember the theatrical cut, right? They were good, but then like everyone saw the extended cut and like everyone's like, oh my god. The theatrical cut made sense for the theatric release, but you need, if you've never watched, to watch the extended edition because it adds a lot more context and the world building and the setting up of the characters is done in such a good way that the entire journey to the ending and the payoff is all well worth it. Even though Return of the King was a bit
luckily,
rushed
none
in
of this is
some
worth
areas.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. No. Actually, I like the actor that Momoa. He's from Stargate Atlantis. I'm actually happy he made it and he got a career. And so did Christopher Judge from Stargate as well. Arch has never seen Stargate, by the way, chat. And this, we're gonna... Oh my god. Chat, listen. Stargate is the only pro-humanity show where it's the only sci-fi show where it's like humanity goes to the Stargate and just fucking Americanizes everything and humanizes. Like, yeah. Bitch,
Well,
we're gonna nuke you.
You go be a simp over there.
You will.
We're
break
talking about
to
the
my
DC Extended
will.
Universe now.
Yeah, but we're talking. This is a
Because
podcast.
after this, we got the Aquaman movie.
Oh god.
The Captain Nemo.
Let's Captain fucking Nemo. Nobody cares about DC movies or Aquaman.
No. That's not true. Because Captain Nemo had a movie, and he had a trident, and his mummy died, and he was like, oh, "My mummy died. I don't want to go home." But then a redhead showed up and was like, "Captain Nemo, you must save me." And then he did. And then the redhead sued that other dude, and turns out she was a spousal abuser, and now there's going to be another redhead.
Yes, I've won. Chat is on my side now. I have become the populist.
Okay. The point we're trying to make is the DC Extended Universe is ass. Simple as. Like,
It is ass.
the best movie, the best movie in the DC Extended Universe is probably Man of Steel, which is just, Yeah, no, just about. Actually, you know what? You know what the best entry into the Extended Universe is? And bring up a fucking picture this time, you little fucking... It's this. It's Peacemaker.
Is this photoshopped?
Don't know. I mean, I'm assuming the birds in the background aren't real, if that's what you're asking.
This looks... There's something wrong with this. Like, visually, it hurts me. I'm not sure if it's the helmet, it's the... See, it's the opposite problem. He's so vibrant, my eyes sting.
And that is very much so the point, Kyle. Because,
so red.
Peacemaker was introduced in Suicide Squad 2, the second movie, which actually had some decent humor in it, because there's a competition between Peacemaker and Idris Elba about who can be the most piece of shit murderous bastard. And they have great chemistry together, like actually genuinely awesome chemistry as they banter constantly. And it's good banter too. It's delivered with that correct mix of vitriol and pathos and friendliness at the same time. It's actually not bad. Like, it's the best part of the movie. Which, considering the movie ends with a giant starfish rampaging through some Southern American country, good as it gets.
Starfish.
He then got his own TV series because he became wildly popular after that. And the TV series is...
It's not good, is it?
No, it's not that.
You're taking too long to describe it.
Difficult to describe.
That's not a good sign.
See, the TV show actually has some genuinely great moments in it because it's supposed to be a comedy. And some of the comedy actually works pretty damn well and hits fairly well. And some of the comedy doesn't work at all and hits really fucking poorly. Like it varies between comedic slapstick retardation with Mr. Beefcake here, writing in his little notepad, being funny, because he actually can do a pretty good job of looking very serious and imposing and also acting like a complete brain-dead idiot, which is, the fundament of humor, isn't it? Dumb person does dumb thing.
Wait. Every time I look at this guy...
But his supporting cast is like fat, black, intersectional woman who tries to be funny and never quite manages. Blonde chick, which he tries to bang, which tries to beat tsundere and never really succeeds. There's a weird scene where they bully a ginger dude with a beard until he breaks down and cries, and they've kind of got to apologize to him.
What? What are we?
Yes.
What are we talking? Like, I feel like this isn't related to anything that we're talking about, but it's weird.
All right, I give you the poster here. Like the dude with like the ginger beard and shit. Like they bully him until he has like a mental breakdown and has to beg them to please stop bullying him. It's like,
okay,
there's even a base moment where blonde chick and black chick are of course progressives, and goes like, Peacemaker, you can't say that. It's a bad word. And he was like, fuck do I care? Like, shouldn't you maybe care a little bit more about being a weak-ass pussy being offended by words? And it's actually a pretty good little monologue.
Yes.
He also has a pet bald eagle, by the way, which is named Eagly.
That's kind of great. But this guy reminds me of ice cream, though.
Good.
You know why, Arch? He's a very ice cream kind of guy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he?
How do you not? Oh my God. Come here, Arch. Come. Listen, okay. This guy is a China simp. You know the actor.
Yes, I know.
Gross.
He apologized in Chinese.
That's cringe.
It is cringe.
I don't like it already.
But his father is also a Grand Dragon of the KKK, so I can forgive him.
What?
You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Not John Cena, mind you, but Peacemaker's dad is a Grand Dragon of the KKK, and it's a big part of their fucking backstory.
What?
Unironically, his dad is the Grand Dragon of the KKK, and he's also Iron Man, and he's called the White Dragon.
My head. This is very random.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. That's why I actually like this show, because it is so fucking off the wall. Let me see if I can find a picture of him.
Oh my God.
Like, okay, his dad, his dad is living proof that racism is one of the greatest innovative forces in the universe, just like we see in Terra Invicta, right? Sheer racism drives humanity to invent the tokamak drive and phasers in like 10 years because they hate the aliens that much.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get you to like Stargate. You will do it, I tell you. He's literally a dragon. He's actually just a dragon. Like, this looks like one of those Japanese shows that I see on Twitter people post. You know the ones.
Yes. No.
No? Okay. Well, I figured you'd be a weeb. You lived in Japan for a while. Then why don't you know that? You should know that.
This is actually fairly true to his original costume, as you can see here. So that's why it looks retarded, because this guy is a villain from like the 50s or 60s. And his only like notable achievement is getting his ass kicked by Superman like once when he was taking down the KKK. And that's about the limits of his backstory, I think.
That's I mean, it's like saying he exists. I take it he's not really relevant anymore. Or...
No, and despite here's another funny picture. As they just in the KKK dude in the forest with an iPad, just looking for the black people.
What? They're doing what? Dude, okay, like
they're looking for the people. They're the bad people, Kyle.
so the KKK organization is a bad organization, and they're
shit.
bad people. Everybody knows that. But to my understanding, their organization's goals is to basically like segregate and oppress, not like.
Well, that's the thing.
Isn't
they're
it?
also Nazis in this universe. So here's yet another picture.
What the
Listen,
fuck?
The White Dragon organization is basically just every bad thing on Earth rolled into one, all right? And the best part is, again, this is how we know racism is the driving force of all innovation. Because this motherfucker, this old-ass motherfucker, has built a pocket dimension in his house to store his racist Iron Man armor.
I mean, at this point, if he has the power to make a pocket dimension, why didn't he make a pocket dimension where he can create his own little ethno state and then piss off?
It's a good question, Kyle, but it's never really answered, unfortunately.
That's true. That would actually give him a solution to his problem.
He's also the guy who builds all of the weird-ass helmets for Peacemaker, because Peacemaker doesn't have superpowers other than that he can shoot a Desert Eagle, like, really well. But his helmets have different abilities. One of his helmets, which he puts on the fat black woman, is the kamikaze helmet, which sees fat black woman propelled through the air into a giant butterfly monster's ass and blasting it up from the inside.
I don't know anymore what to say about anything. This show is just sort of random. Like, things just happen. That's kind of weird.
See, that's the beauty of it too, because it comes across as a retarded show from the 60s, and that's very much so the point of it as well. It's okay-ish comedy. And again, this is what DCEU actually needs to return to. This more 60s style of idiocy. Like, Superman needs to return to just being fucking Superman. He doesn't need to be gritty. He doesn't need to struggle with his family or his fucking two teenagers like that ridiculous TV series that's currently going on. He just needs to be Superman trying to get into Lois Lane's pants. That is really all we require from him.
Yeah. I like how Chess is like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't even know, Chess. Only Arch knows. This isn't a stream with chat or Kib. This is just a Barch rambling.
Here, this should be YouTube safe, barely.
Probably.
To illustrate the problem, right? This is one of the scenes from, I think this is from the Justice League movie thing, right? And it's, was that Lena Lang or Lois Lane? I don't remember. Obviously, she doesn't look a thing like her actual character, right? But again, notice how fucking cold the pic is shot. Like, look at the filters they've laid on there.
It's very blue.
I'll give you another one here, which also should be just within the margins of error, where, you know, the two are trying to be flirtatious, like, oh, we're showing love, like Superman and Lois Lane and Ree. And it's Superman just getting in the bathtub fully clothed. Like, okay, this is an adorable little retard moment. All right. But again, it looks like fucking ice water, doesn't it? Like, the entire shot is so thoroughly cold. Like, you feel freezing just looking at it.
Feel bad for her.
He's Superman. He doesn't care. But she's freezing to death right now.
She's like, I've lost feeling in my feet, Superman. Smiles. It's very cold. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Also, you notice how what they could have done to make this a little bit more atmospheric is like make the room steamy. You know? So you can see like a little haze. Then they could do that with like a simple fog machine to create like a sort of misty, sort of steamy effect. But it doesn't look very warm. It looks cold.
It doesn't look inviting. It doesn't look like even the spine. Like she's looking up at him. She's smiling. This is clearly like a funny moment. Like, ha ha, you so silly. Look at her face, actually, though. Like, the shadows cast on it.
Yeah, it's not
psychotic.
It's not cast in a... Like, these shots aren't... They're not thought of very well. Because it's portrayed in a very sort of dim or darkish atmosphere, so it's kind of grittier. They're not trying to go for warm.
it makes both characters colder and less interesting and more standoffish. Like, compare this to one of my favorite old-timey like Superman entries. Here you go. Lois and Clark, right? This is from, I don't even know. It's old as F. Like, this is VHS era, right? VHS box set era shit.
It is decrepit.
Yeah, basically. And it's way more vibrant, and it's intimate. It's got a kind of sexiness to it, you know?
It does. It also just looks
An even
more
more blatant one here. Again, we're pushing YouTube's fucking boundaries.
Oh my god, Barch. Even YouTube's okay with this one. They're just being
I don't know. I've gotten a fucking strike for a fully clothed ass, okay?
Oh, that's right.
That is right. But here, like, too, again, this is clearly a passionate couple. Like, she's leaving little marks on his chest. Like, they're very intimate. This tells you that there's a romance, a steamy romance going on here, right?
Yep.
Again, contrast that to the fucking cold-ass bath scene. And the bath scene is way more sexual. Like, the chick is literally naked in that one, and they're both soaked to the bone.
Honestly, like, if we were to reshoot that scene, I would basically, like, make it orange lit to give it a warm color palette, and then make it, set in a darker time of day, give it sort of a sort of cozy vibe to it, and then make some steam in the room. And there you go.
Light some of those candles in the window, which are blown out, incidentally.
Light the candles, make it romantic. Maybe even go a little bit further, and they went a little bit overboard, and there's some petals or something, or a little flower there, here and there. Brighten up the room. For fuck's sake,
it's Superman, right? It's like Lois Lane comes home and is all tired after a long day of being a fake news article writer, yeah? And she gets into the bath, and Superman comes home and just looks at her like, this isn't very romantic, Lois, and then zooms around the room at Mach speed, lighting all the candles and picking flowers and shit. He's fucking Superman. Literally, the sky's the limit.
There is no reason to do it that way.
As Kyle wanders off to get food.
It's not that I get food. I just need a drink. I've got cotton mouth today. There we go. It's one of those days. It's also cold.
This is unironically the era we need to return to. Even though, okay, I'll give you another one here, less flattering one. Because, man, does it look kind of retarded.
Oh my god. Yes, it looks great. The greased hair, the fucking spandex tights. Yeah.
The giant bulge, like if you look closer, you can see his fucking dick veering off to the right there, pointing towards the dude. Like,
It just, he stands out like a sore thumb. It's so beautiful. But hey, I'll give him this. He's vibrant.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's maximum vibrancy. Like, the blue is blue. It's blue is blue. Red is red, and yellow is just yellow. Like, there's no messing around here. They're just complete, like, flat color.
Yep. Everything is standing out. And again, it's a bit of an unfortunate fact that you can actually see his cudgel, like, there. But, fuck.
Listen, he uses that cudgel to put Lois in her place. You're like, oh my god.
And the bright yellow belt and the red trousers on the outside, like, it looks special. But again, it's also the part I love too is like this is shot and it is delivered completely straight faced. You know, everything is just accepted. This is Superman. This is how he fucking dresses. And the dude is capable of hauling planets through space. So even if he looks a bit retarded, nobody's gonna bring it up.
Yeah, reminds me of that guy that was homeless in what was it, St. Cloud, Minnesota. He would wander around and he'd wear a Superman outfit. He was insane.
Oh, there you go.
He tried to save people. But he looked like this, by the way. A little less fit and a little older. Or check, I want to visit.
This would be such a better version of Superman right now. Screw all of the dark and gritty. Just have Superman be Superman. And you know what? Because the original idea in the article I sent you all the way at the beginning before he ventured off on quite the little side tangent here, basically said that it's going to be Man of Steel 2, probably, rather than another Superman reboot or like complete like restart. Which makes sense, and it doesn't. Like, I honestly want them to just wipe the slate clean and just ignore that first movie entirely. And that's kind of what they're doing. Because apparently in Man of Steel 2, it will end up that he didn't actually kill General Zod. So they'll just, redo all of that. Which, normally, I'm not fine with them just going back in time and, wiping shit that was shit out of existence. But the thing is, Superman isn't Man of Steel. Like, he wasn't created by that movie. He's been Superman for decades. It is entirely fine to just pretend that all of the previous movies didn't exist and just do Superman again. Fuck, I don't even think it should need to be an origin story. Just do Superman. Have him arrive in Metropolis and do his little thing with Lois Lane, and then he's Superman. Like, he's already Superman. Like, fuck the origin story. Fuck spending an hour in Kansas. Fuck killing his dad. He's like, Dad, I can save you. Clark, no. The script says I must die to learn you a valuable lesson about being, retarded.
I mean,
scene.
The thing is, I get why everyone wants to do an origin story and start from the very beginning. Like, as a writer, it is a tempting thing. It's like, oh, you can show them at the very beginning, but what you can do is you can jump into a story that's already ongoing and just roll with it. The Incredibles did this, where it's already a story. There was a little, like, you can sort of gloss over the origin and do it lightly, and then expand with the story as you go. Andromeda, the TV show, did this as well, where they touched on the origin a little bit of, like, Dylan Hunt and his character in the history in the Commonwealth. And then they're like, okay, we'll show that later. And as the show goes on, he bumps into things and characters from the past, and he has, like, a whole episode where it talks about the past and how it affected things and how it's, how the world's changed since then. And so you sort of learn as you go. You don't have to do an origin story. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these shows, because Marvel started that too. Like, every single one of those Marvel heroes has the origin story movie,
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes through them that way. And everybody's like, we got to do an origin story. And origin stories are cool, but you do not have to do them. And you don't even have to do them first.
Who the fuck doesn't know Superman's origin story at this point?
That's true. It's an old story.
It's
very old,
yes.
Actually.
It's retarded. We don't need it. We really don't. No, just do Superman, and just do Superman. Make him a positive and forward-looking hero, and do not make him progressive. That's another thing too. Like, just don't put any politics in at all. Just have a stupid plot. Have Lex Luthor, invent the atom bomb or something. It's a bit late, but he's Lex Luthor. He's a bit special.
Yep. And
threaten to blow up Metropolis and have Superman stop it. Voila. Like, or invent some bullshit fucking villain that wants to destroy the Earth or something. Just a nice, simple, good versus evil story where Superman has to overcome some perceived weakness and grow as a human being to kick the ass of whatever bad guy of the week is coming around. That's fine. That'll be enough. And it might actually revitalize the DCEU a little bit.
Yeah, it would be kind of interesting, but I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. I think everything's wishful thinking at this point when it comes to the DC universe. I think their fate is set in stone, at least for the next few years.
It might be, but at the same time, they are... Okay, so there's a new guy who's moving into the DCU movies now, and I think he was lightly involved in Black Adam, which I haven't seen yet, so I can't comment if it's good or not. But he's supposedly the guy who's going to be handling the Superman stuff. And he, too, has been saying that he wants to, take it back in time and try and get a little bit back to that old flavor. So, because, again, the DCEU has, for almost 10 years now, been doing the exact same thing, and it has failed every single time. Like, it's probably time to try something else.
Yep. But I think the superhero phase is now over. Like, we're gonna start seeing it disappear.
You say that, but I think the superhero phase, as in this type of superhero, is over. But we haven't actually had a superhero movie in forever.
Oh yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about like the popular trend is over. Like it's set. The sun has set on that little trend, and it is over now. Which honestly I think is actually a good thing for the IP, or not the IP, the genre as a whole, because being in the main light and being, you know, popular is not a good thing. I mean, look at what it did to Marvel. Look at what it did to DC. Look at what it did to Star Wars.
Nothing good.
Yeah. Because they had to make it for everyone.
I do still kind of hope they can revitalize it, though. Because I would love to see actual Superman again. It would be nice. It would be nice. You know what else is nice, Carl?
Anything that's not related to superheroes?
No, this is related to superheroes in a way.
I fucking hate superheroes.
I'll send you another article. In this case, the superhero is China. And the villain is Blizzard.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, fuck. This is actually a good thing. I know a lot of Blizzard people are going to be celebrating today.
I told you, China is the superhero. They're the hero we always needed.
Okay, no. I will never say that because I don't want to attach that L to my name. Oh my god, no, just I don't want to. I'm not disabling my ad blocker. I don't care. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
China has finally decided to come to our rescue and kill Blizzard, or at the very least, a sizable portion of their income.
They're not going to kill Blizzard, but what is interesting though is actually I did hear about this, and it was actually through a lot of the Blizzard friends we have and contacts. They were actually ecstatic. They're like, finally, we can get rid of that dead thing attached to us. Yeah, now you just got to get rid of Activision. Good luck. You're a bit
so to be clear, this isn't just a win for China, which gets to not play Blizzard games. It could also theoretically be a win for Blizzard, because a lot of the problems with modern-day Activision Blizzard stems from the chasing of the Chinese market, which is a very microtransaction-laden market, a very abusive market.
But from what also we know, it stems from the executives from Activision, and they are chasing that audience too. And so a lot of the people in Blizzard that are actually decent folk don't have the executive power and privileges to decide anything. So they're at the mercy of whatever the Chinese branch needs. The Chinese branch needs this, Chinese branch needs that. And so it's a constant battle. Tons of people in Blizzard were all in favor and support of the Blizzchung thing, and all about like, yeah, no, like, he had every right to do that, like, leave him alone. Like, give him his money. But the problem is they can't say that publicly, or what happens? They get fucking murdered. Their career suicide is what that is. That's not a hill anyone should have to die on. But it's one of those things where it's like, this is a good thing because more companies need to be shoved out of China. I hope it doesn't stop here. I hope this is just the beginning, because the more companies that are pushed out and kicked out of China, the better for the rest of us. Because they'll stop trying to kowtow to these authoritarian pricks all the time. Because they'll have to turn to us for their money, and they will do what we tell them. Because otherwise they're not going to get our money. That gives us more purchase power. A lot more.
Because the Chinese market is, of course, enormous. And it's also a very unique market. It's very censorious. It's very demanding in very specific ways. And it requires a lot of attention. So the reason why Blizzard no longer is in China and has therefore begun shutting down their games. Almost all, in fact. I think every game except Diablo Immortal, because that's with another company, is because they failed to reach an agreement about the continuation of their license with Tencent. And those of you who have watched me rip on China before will know that in China, it is required by law that you must have a local partner to operate in China. Blizzard is not allowed to sell directly to the Chinese market. They must sell via a Chinese
Now,
company.
you do need to elaborate. That's not just Blizzard. That's everyone. Because,
That's why I said it's the fucking law.
yeah,
Bitch.
no Westerners. Like, if you're a Westerner, you have 0 rights. You're not a human being in China. They don't conceive of you.
Not Westerner, non-Chinese.
Non-Chinese, yeah. You're not a person. You don't have rights. That's why if they steal stuff from other IPs, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because in China, they can do whatever they want.
Pretty much. And since they didn't manage to reach an agreement with Tencent, Tencent will no longer have the right to operate Blizzard products, of course, but Blizzard will also not have the right to operate in China in total. So that's going to be an enormous market loss to them. The only one that'll remain is Diablo Immortal, their latest little microtransaction clickfest fuckfest, because that is with NetEase, which is a different Chinese company again.
Fuck
It
NetEase
might
too.
also be that they're going to switch horses entirely, because Tencent has been a bit of a waning giant as of late, as they've received multiple blows to their portfolio over the last year or so.
Every single blow makes me happy. The more we beat the shit out of the Chinese market, the better for the rest of us. It's finally good. But the best part is, and the worst part about all of this, is most of the shit that China's doing is sabotaging themselves because they're, well, an evil shithole nation, right? But we didn't do it. And that's what's the shameful part about all this shit. Is the best things that are happening right now is thanks to literally, like you said, China being based. Like, that's the disappointing part. It wasn't Activision, it wasn't Blizzard, the Westerners that stood up. It was China being so retarded that they beat the shit out of themselves.
Anything that reduces Blizzard's bottom line is a good thing.
Anything that makes them have to fucking pay for what they've done, yeah. Get them back in line. But still, it's still bullshit. It's bullshit. But at least you can always count on the communists to ruin their own shit. So there's that. It was only a matter of
time.
time.
For the Chinese people who are, playing these games, and one day it's just going to be like, nope,
I feel
can't
so
do that
bad
anymore.
for the Chinese people. Like, they are the biggest victims in all of this. Caught in a shitty government. Because their ancestors didn't fight harder, damn it.
True. It is going to be a big, big blow for Blizzard, though. Now, I think some of the optimism is probably quite misplaced. The idea that, oh, this'll fix it, like the dead growth is gone, like you kind of said. Where we can be Blizzard again now and make good video games. Nah, I don't think so. More than likely, what's going to happen here is that they're going to redouble their shit to try and get back into China. I don't think Blizzard's going to be giving up on this anytime soon.
Yeah, no, they're not. That's the important thing. They're going to try to find a diplomatic route, and I hope to God they fail. Because the more the gaming industry is pushed out of China, the Western industry, the more the Western industry will start to realize that they're not welcome there, and that China doesn't like them. And that no matter how much they kowtow and dick suck, it's not going to change anything. Because at the end of the day, the Chinese are just going to fuck them. And honestly, good. They should fuck them every single time. That way they get the point and learn the lesson. The sooner the better.
I don't know if they'll even ever learn that lesson. It's too much money.
It is one thing, though. They can't make money there now. Which does mean that now our buying power actually carries weight a lot more than it did before. A significant amount. So that's very good. Now we should
It
hurt
will
them.
reduce the size of their income pool. Like it will. And especially right before the release of their new dumbass expansionist too. Like, that's a lot of sales that are not going to happen now.
Big kick in the testicles is what that is. Oh, that hurts. It's like, yeah, that's gonna hurt a little, isn't it? Now you're gonna have to go out of your way to try to earn the trust of other people you burned back. Good luck. That's gonna take you some serious time and some serious work. But you know what? More power to you. Start making that journey now.
That's the optimistic view.
That's the only view I can have. We have to look at the bright side of life, Arch. It's like the Monty Python skit told me.
I don't know about that.
They're not going to learn their lesson, but that's besides the point. They'll only try to impose further censorship and burn even more of the Western audience they have away, instead of pulling their heads out of their fucking asses. It's what all these companies do, because they don't see the world the way, you know, the common man does. They don't care. They're just like, I want number to go higher for sales. And they're willing to sacrifice their integrity and their soul to do it. Greed.
On the bright side, this also means that China is becoming an ever more insular market for Western video games. It's because right now, everyone wants to try and get into China. Like Creative Assembly bent over backwards to get into China. They're still not in China, as far as I know, by the way.
Yep. And Three Kingdoms sold incredibly well, which is why they pulled development of it, so that they could sell it again, fucking pricks. Oh,
well,
I hate them.
They're going to sell it again because that's going to be their next effort to get into China, I think. Because Three Kingdoms has not been accepted for sales in China. Now, it still does have a sizable Chinese audience, and that's because China has not yet cracked down on Steam either. There was the thing a while ago that looked like they might be starting, where they soft blocked it from many internet providers, but I think it's since been released again.
Yep. I remember our friend Old Dog. He hung out with some fucking Chinese dude who's apparently a son of one of the party members or whatever. But apparently over there, it's again like a nobility. Like the nobles and the elites can have access to these things and enjoy these luxuries, and they'll even let the plebeians have it a little bit. But they'll always, you know, once they get out of line a little bit, they'll tighten the leash a little bit. Because you know,
well, I looked
bastards.
it up just now, and yes, the previous one was a attack, as they call it. So it's not blocked in China because they've got this. You can access Steam and you can have Steam, but Steam isn't accepted in China. Now there is the official Chinese version of Steam as well, which has like 5 games on it.
Yeah,
and again,
it's shit.
I'm surprised they haven't blocked it yet. Honestly. Like, I still firmly believe it is a question of time, of when, rather than if. But I am actually a bit surprised they haven't. Because I figured there would be a year tops before they nuked the entire thing from orbit to get as much control as possible. But it might also be that this is more of a PR move than anything else, to basically be like, oh yeah, no, we're totally dealing with that evil Western entertainment that's corrupting our children and shit. But right now, with China having more important things to deal with, like what appears to be an internal purge of the party, for example, it might have ended up on the back burner a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think they're gonna be. The problem is with China is they're hypocritical. And they're pieces of shit, to put it simply. They'll say one thing and they'll pretend to be communists, but they're just an authoritarian hellhole, and they'll do whatever means necessary to, you know, maintain the party. And they will still use Steam, they'll still use things, but they'll always put on the facade of, like, putting up the pressure. They're the paper tiger of the East. They don't have anything. They got shitty cities that are made out of fucking styrofoam. They fall over. They got infrastructure projects that lead to nowhere. That with bridges that are made out of fucking sand. I don't consider them particularly scary or particularly a threat. And if we actually had a backbone, we could actually do something. But, you know, we have weak pieces of shit leaders, so, you know, we're stuck with what we got. I honestly think China is one of those things, like, yeah, they're gonna kick and piss and shit, but, like, Chinese people are still gonna access these things because they're not willing to actually go heavy on the censorship, because I don't think they can. If that makes sense.
Well, it depends.
Because China's a huge place, and it's not as centralized as you think. Like, they can't... They struggle to maintain control over what they have. The city of Screams is a case in point of that. They're having a massive difficulty of keeping their people in line. One of these days,
The benefit is
they're gonna
they
crack.
have a lot of control over what comes into their country.
Yes.
Like, oh, benefit. That's the downside for our side.
They control what comes in, and they are very strict on that because they try to manipulate that. That's also why you run into a lot of Chinese people on the internet that are hyper racist or hyper nationalists, where they're like, China is master race, and they go on about stuff like that. I've heard of instances like that, but it's one of those things where it's I don't know what the effect of the propaganda is on the general public, Like, how many people know about Steam? How many people are into, like, gaming over there? And how many of them know how to get around when they do the soft blocks and stuff? Because there are methods to get around those things.
The vast majority of people won't. Like,
Yeah.
when Steam is finally banned, most of them won't bother because it'll be too much hassle. And it'll block a lot more people from doing it because, again, it'll be hassle and there won't be easily available information. Here in the West, you can simply Google how to get around block. And in China, there is no Google.
Now chat's just ripping into China. I'm happy. This is so good to see such anti-China rhetoric. Beautiful.
China number one. China will win.
China
will be
planes
God.
can't even take off their crappy aircraft carriers that can't float.
There is also the fact that President Lich did do a good thing where he screwed over their production of semiconductors, because they've been trying to start out like a microprocessor semiconductor market for a while in China, but it's mostly been reliant on American technology. And with recent moves from the dead man who breathes, that looks to be dying. In fact, that's one of the reasons why Tencent dropped so much in value, and it might be the reason why they broke up with Blizzard. They might simply have been demanding too much money to make up for their losses in other areas.
Maybe. I do hope that, honestly, I think, like, despite everything, I think China's days of being that annoying little piece of shit is gonna come to an end within our lifespan.
Well, then we'll see. Maybe they'll take over Mongolia.
No. They need to give Mongolia back all the land they stole. They need to free Tibet, and they need to basically give their entire country to Taiwan, because Taiwan is actually called the Republic of China, and they are the
The
Republic.
most reasonable outcome is that Russia will eventually collapse after a long and retarded war with Ukraine, and then China will claim half of Russia.
And then overextend and collapse because we'll go to war with them and be like, no.
I don't think we will go to war with them because we don't have any cause belli, and we still care about that over here.
Do we?
Yes.
Looks at Libya, looks at Syria.
If not, those Ukrainian missiles that landed in Poland a few days ago would have caused a lot more of a stir.
We have casus belli. The casus belli is it's interfering with our interests. Dismantle China.
Carl
Right.
does not understand the meaning of the words he's using. Kick
I
him in the
do.
balls now.
When it comes to our interests, them expanding and taking more land it threatens our interest in the East, doesn't it? Threatens our interest in Korea.
That's a very
Japan.
early 1900s view of things, which I do partially approve of.
Yes, you understand.
You're
This is the
advancing
view we
into
need.
Victoria. Victoria 3 does not appreciate that. It's in
Oh
our
my
sphere of
God,
influence,
not Victoria 3, God.
which is our entire globe, mind you.
But the thing is, the world
Crown of
economies are...
Britain has taken an interest in this entire planet. You will
Listen.
not expand.
We cannot stand idly by like cucks and let China annex Siberia. We have Alaska, it would look very nice to have, Kamchatka, whatever it's called, the region, as part of America too. Like, that's only fair. Like, it's basically touching Alaska, chat. It belongs to us. We deserve that land. What are we gonna do with it?
Victoria 3 simply knows no
Don't
end.
know.
It's one
We
of the
could-
many shames in his life.
We could put all the Californians there. Yes, we could put them in Siberia.
Speaking of, I want to point out that Victoria 3 is still mixed and edging slowly towards mostly negative, having now reached 63%, which I think is a low. So, many happinesses. Speaking of video games, Kyle, what do you have today? Because I brought Henry Cavill in China. What do you have?
I
If you said Victoria 3 news, I'm going to have to strangle you.
Oh, wow. Rude. Barch.
I know how much of you simp you are, and you probably bought into their recent pleading where they're saying, "Okay, we know the
oh
game
my
is
god,
awful."
why are you attacking me?
Out of reflex.
What did I
But
do?
we'll totally fix it at some point. Don't worry. Like, we're gonna do bug fixes now, and that'll make the game better.
When it comes to video games, like the only thing I have, the problem is we can't talk about Darktide. I've been doing a lot of fucking, like, we're grinding through that game because we need to fucking figure that shit out. But I'm not particularly impressed, and I kind of want to talk about it a little bit because it is worth talking about. Like, what is chat's opinion of Darktide? Because it seems to be kind of controversial. Like, I see a lot of people like the game, and that's cool. But for me, I just find the game tedious. Like, the game design. Like, it's the idea behind it, right? Because you have the Left 4 Dead sort of style of design from, like, Vermintide, which is what Vermintide copied. You know, where you start the level, and then you go to the end of the level, you know, you get some stuff. There's XP that they added in Vermintide, and you get weapons, yada yada, right? That's cool. But in Darktide, it's kind of like that, but it's all feels so incredibly pointless. Like, does it feel boring to you guys? Or is this just like a me thing, an Arch thing? Okay, actually a lot of people say that they think it looks boring. Like, it feels grindy too. And the weapons you start with are horrific. You don't get anything fun until after like 4 hours of gameplay. I played an Ogren, and I got the Rip-A-Gun, and that was fun. I actually had fun. As soon as I got the Rip-A-Gun, I was starting to have fun with the game. I had to play 4 fucking hours to get a gun that was okay. Like, fucking Christ. And even then, I haven't gotten a gun since then. And I've played like another 4 hours after that.
The game is going to release to a fart rather than a boom. It's currently teetering on the edge of mixed, as it's sitting on 70% positive now of the the semi-open beta. And it's mostly because it's just not very fun. And the problem is, I can't necessarily put my finger on exactly what is wrong with the game. It's just not that fun.
There's a lot of little things too. Like, I have to talk about this. The dialogue between the characters is all right, but they have no characters, and I didn't think it would bother me as much as it did, but it does. Like, I kind of miss, like, as much as I love Arch's Negromancer character he plays with me, it's a great name, and every time I see it I smile. There's something about, like, you know, Kruber and like Saltspire's interactions with each other that was always kind of charming. Or when, like, the elf would be like, she mentioned she was like there at an incident with like a bridge, and Saltspire's like, wait, that was an entire regiment that was wiped out. Elf, like, waking out. And there was such charm. It's like the Left 4 Dead where the characters interact, and here they don't really feel like they have any interactions memorable.
The primary character trait of the characters is shoving their tongues as deep as possible into the female NPCs' assholes, and then rolling their R's. Because have you noticed that? Every single time they're discussing one of the NPCs, it's always in the most glowing of ways. And it's like, oh my god, that Mechanica woman, she's so strong and independent. Oh, that recruiter woman too, god, she's so tough. There's even a whole line where they're like, oh, okay, yeah, the Mechanica's check is a little bit cold and cuntish, but it's just because he's focused, okay? Like,
and then one guy's like, well, you know, as long as she keeps my guns in order, she's all right with me. And it's like, okay.
And you'd think these people wouldn't actually have a lot of good things to say about these guys, seeing as we play a bunch of enslaved nobodies who is being forced to fight through a hive city, being sent on suicide missions as everybody abuses us. Oh, these are very nice people.
Yeah, consider what they're sending you against, right? They're sending you into hot zones that are filled to the brim with heretics and cultists, and there are, like, teeming with hundreds of thousands of fucking little infested bastards down there. They don't expect you to come back alive. They send you down there on a suicide mission, and if you come back, great. They can use you for the next one. They do extract you, so that's at least something, right? You know, the Imperium... This is something that proves that the Imperium aren't heartless bastards. They do extract them. They send down a ship to go pick them up. That's more than most.
Not really worth the fuel to begin with, but
listen, I'm trying to throw a bone here. Can't just, like, as I throw it, catch it and then throw it back to me. That's not fair.
And it's going to release in November 30th. Yeah,
It's
November
coming
30th
soon.
is the release for it.
Yeah, it's coming very, very soon. And I don't know. Like, to me, I imagine I'm going to play this, and it'll be like what you and I did. Because Vermintide, I think, is a stronger game. I think Vermintide 2 is a much stronger game than Darktide. But
the problem is, too...
go ahead.
That's a very unfortunate release window, at least for me. Because the just a week after, December 6th,
Yeah.
War Fortress...
Oh.
Knights of Honor 2, Ixion, the spiritual kind of successor to Startopia, Master of Magic comes
Jesus
out
Christ.
December 13th.
Yeah, it's quite the year of releases now that I think about it.
It's
Yeah, we
not
got-
the month of releases, but yeah, no, December is chock full of shit that I'm really looking forward to.
And Darktide's
And
got
then
to
there's
compete with
Darktide.
that.
It's like,
Oh, does Callisto Protocol come out? I'm a Dead Space fan, so I'll probably check that out. Oh, damn. Yeah, that is a full month of games. Well, maybe this will be a good December. But I don't think
I'm looking
Darktide's
forward
going to be on that
Dwarf
list.
Fortress. I'm very looking forward to Dwarf Fortress.
I'm scared that Dwarf Fortress is going to ruin my life. And I'll never play anything again. Everybody's going to play
I
it.
really want Ixion to be good too, because I loved the idea of Startopia, I think it was, and they made a recent one which it wasn't terrible, but it didn't have enough stuff to do, and it also ran like shit. Just a bit of a problem.
Oh, one other quick thing before we move on past the Darktide thing. Well, I love some of the enemy designs, like the Trader Guardsmen. I think they're cool. It's really cool to see their armor and stuff. And some of the shotgunners and some of the soldier designs. It's just Nurgle again. I'm fucking bored with Nurgle. Like, wouldn't it have been something if it was like a Gene Stealer cult? Oh, I'll pull that up. Something new. Why is everything zombies? We run into
And
the
it's also
same
they
problem.
don't really do anything with them.
Yeah.
Like they're just zombies. Like they don't really have anything special.
Oh,
Like
wow, that does look good.
the Nurgle big monsters are just big monsters. Like, there's nothing very Nurgly about any of them.
I haven't even heard of this Ixion thing, but this actually looks really fucking... This looks like that Startopia game.
Yes, it does. Exactly what I've been saying. Like I'm hoping this is good because
It's
I
got a
want a game like that.
Great art style. Loving the ship designs. That looks pretty sweet. I hope that's good.
It does. I'm having some hopes there. Some hopes. Yes, some hopes. Hopes.
Probably DLC, says Squealy. Squealy, shut the fuck up, I'll beat you. I didn't forget that Space Hulk was a thing, brother Azek. It's shit.
Oh, we've tried to forget.
We've tried, but it's not easy.
Yes, Space Hulk was not. Great.
Deathwing? Oh, chat, don't even give me that. I don't want to talk about how the Terminators feel like paper mache. But Kim, still, I don't care. I'm wearing a big clunky suit that makes me move like a potato. If I can't fucking at least survive 2 hits with it, I don't want to wear it. Like, what's the purpose of armor? Like, there was like James Rayner had a great point in one of the StarCraft books. Why don't you wear any armor, James? Because like it moves, you move slow, and it doesn't work. They go right through it. It's like, yeah, it's true. Why are we wearing this?
Yeah, no. Again, if you're gonna do Terminators, you should wade through absolute ridiculous stupendo hordes of enemies and take almost no damage. Like it should be retarded. You should be shot at by so many people and basically take no damage. Like you should be worn down over time.
Yep. Yeah, and then like blocking the doors should just merely stem the tide. Like buy you a few minutes.
Yep, that would be great, but that's not what fucking happens now, is it, Kyle? No, instead, you get fucking yeeted in 2.5 seconds by random guardsmen with lance rifles. That's what happens, Kyle.
I remember
How dare
dying to
you,
auto
simple
gunfire.
Darktide.
I was like, my armor is my shield, or no, my faith is my shield. Yeah, it is my faith because my armor
My
certainly
face is
isn't.
my shield.
Yes, that's also the problem. My face can only take like a bullet.
Kyle,
What?
make noises to distract chat. I'm trying to set up a
Okay,
thing for.
That's fine. I have
Dev.
another topic. Oh, Dev
Because
need
Dev
help?
is telling I need to set up user live direct, and I don't know. What
Oh,
that
I'll
is.
show you how. Okay, so open your. I'll go to my channel to help walk you through it here. Go to YouTube Studio, I think.
Alright.
And then we go to. Where do we go, chat? We go to community? No. Monetization, copyright, subtitles, comments, analytics, content. Content. Go to content. Go to live.
Ah, hold on, I found it.
You found it? You have to add people. Also, you have to add me so you can show me. Actually, add all our friends. Where's our friends?
I would never do that.
We need Dinko,
I would rather play more
Dev.
video games, basically.
I'll get V for you, and I'll get Raging Golden Eagle, Razor Fist. I haven't subscribed to Sargon. Does he stream still?
God knows.
7 days ago. These are videos. I don't think he does. Nice guy. Bit of a boomer, but a good guy at heart. He doesn't know how to say variant.
He doesn't, but that's one of his many problems with being British.
That's true. We've had many verbal battles. Soon he will be defeated. But you need to set it up that way. You can promote people, so we can have like Rosa and stuff. Fucking
I
Dinko.
probably set it up now. It's fine. I've probably done it correctly the first time because I'm smart.
You have to manually add the channels though.
No, I can just click all channels can redirect to my content.
What?
That way everyone can just give me stuff. There you go.
How did you do that?
Magic, Kip.
I'm gonna interrogate you
Now,
after the stream.
More importantly, before the poor chat gets like, this is not video
No,
games.
Rogue
which is
Trader.
correct.
Rogue Trader. So
No,
somebody.
first, Knights of Honor Sovereign.
Oh yeah,
Knights of Honor is
that
more
looks good. That
important
looks
because Rogue
good.
Trader doesn't come out until 257. Kyle, you dirtbag.
Hold on, I'm opening up. I'm actually looking forward to Knights of Honor because I like this game. I like the first one a lot.
Knights of Honor Sovereign 2, THQ Nordic. I have a lot of time for THQ Nordic, despite the fact that they keep making mediocre shit. But at least they're trying, okay?
And they're bringing back Knights of Honor. I'm excited.
Total War, but maybe with some mechanics.
Okay, so
I would
quickly,
love if it was Total War with mechanics.
quickly, before we get into like this. So understand, I'm afraid. I'm actually afraid of the Total War comparison because I'm worried that people are going to compare it to Total War and they're like, the battles aren't nearly as big or as complex. Knights of Honor is about the strategic thinking, and you do have tactical battles to play in this game, which is cool. You can lead your troops and fight them, but it's not quite on the Total War scale. It's more of a almost kind of realistic, where it's actually smaller scale fighting, but it is a game more about the strategic map too, because the campaign map of Knights of Honor is a big thing. Shut up, chat. And it's not Knights of Boar. You're Knights of Stupid. Now, you'll have to like do marriage alliances and stuff like that, and you have diplomacy, you got trading, you got to manage like religion, pope stuff, and you got to worry about heretics, and there's all sorts of things on the campaign map to care about versus Total War Warhammer, where it's like, this is a province, where's the next province? There's no roads. Here you got to worry about all that.
I have hope for it.
I'm hoping, yeah.
And most important, Dwarf Fortress, yeah, but with graphics this time. Like, I am looking forward to this because I've heard so many cool things about Dwarf Fortress, and it sounds like a game I would love, but I refuse to play a fucking DOS game, okay? No. Just no.
December 6th, yeah, that comes out in 2 weeks.
Because the only problem I have with it is that if it's really good, then it might distract me from Songs of Six, which I still want to shill, and that will make me a bit sad.
We will play Songs of Six, but we're gonna wait till we finish. We gotta finish Terran Victor Foist.
Oh, God, I hope Warfare is good. Like, that seems like a game I could play for a while. That seems like a decent stream game, too.
Hold on. Does Company Heroes 3 come out this year, I think?
No, next year, but not
Okay.
far into next year. I think. Let me check. Just I think it's only a couple months away. 23rd of February, so 2 months? Three. 3 months. Yeah, so it's not super far away. Oh God, Kyle, I'm so scared. Kyle,
Why?
hold my hand. I'm frightened.
You just come here, little barge man.
Because man, like if that sucks, I'll be fucking devastated. I actually will. Because Dawn
I
of War
know.
3 was a fucking blow right to the fucking cock, and I still hate my review of it because I'm way too fucking optimistic. Like
You are.
I lay into that fucking game. I do not recommend it in the slightest, and yet I'm like, I mean, they're trying to make kind of a Warcraft 3 thing, and they were. And if it just hadn't been named Dawn of War 3, I could have looked at it and gone like, well, it's a pretty boring video game, but hey, it's something.
You know what you would have said? I wish that they would have made a Dawn of War 3 instead of this.
Instead,
I guarantee
yeah.
that's what you would have said.
And I still wish they would have made a Dawn of War 3 instead of Dawn of War 3.
I mean, that's fair. Oh god, just the name Dawn of War 3. It's like thinking Twilight. Like, since there are the RTS killers. Supreme Commander 2 killed its franchise. Command & Conquer Tiberium Twilight killed the franchise. Dawn of War 3, the franchise killer. RTS games always have that one rotten egg that killed them. And for some reason, other genres like Halo made Halo 4 and somehow got a 5, and that was even worse, and they got a 6, which is worse than the 5 and the 4 combined.
You can still buy it.
You can.
I hate the fact that you can still purchase the video game, Carl. You know what I hate even more?
Hold on.
It's only mixed. This game did not deserve to be only
Jesus
mixed.
Christ, it's unmixed.
And the worst part is, recent reviews, 46. There are 46 lost souls who picked up this piece of shit in the last 30 days.
I have 34.9 hours of my life. I've lost over a day of my life to this stupid game.
Fucking campaign, you tard.
I played through it, yeah. It's true.
It is getting to that time where we're going to have to play Dawn of War 3 again, Kyle. I think it'll be April. In amongst the coverage of that TV show, we'll play Dawn of War 3.
Dawn
of War 3.
I'm not. I would never touch that. Let me put it this way: the only way I'm ever putting that piece of shit back on my PC is if I'm paid to, and even then, that's paid time for it to even sit there.
You are paid, Kyle. I'm paying you. Therefore, we're gonna play Dawn of War 3 next April.
But you're not paying me to play that. Technically, you're paying me for the other stuff I do for you.
Yeah, but that is all the stuff you do for me.
He's like, listen,
It's a very broad umbrella, Kyle. I'll point out you
have
have no employment contract, Kyle. You do whatever you're told.
Yeah, we have an honorable agreement, and I trust the barge.
Exactly.
And that was apparently my mistake.
I make up the fucking terms whenever I fucking please.
This is why you get things written down, or people like Barch abuse you.
Correct.
Let that be a lesson to you, champ. You little shits.
Dawn of War 3. Like I take it as a personal insult that they're still selling it. They're still putting it on sale. It's like a bear trap at cock height, just waiting in the shrubbery of Steam.
The worst part is if you look at the pictures and like close your eyes, remove the idea of Dawn of War from your mind, and just not even think about 40K, and just look at these images. Looks like an interesting video game, actually.
I mean, it looks a bit overly cartoony, but yeah, it does. Like
I would buy it. I'd try it if I didn't know what it was. If I knew what it was, I wouldn't.
And if you were coming here like 5 years later and you're like, Dawn of War was a good video game. Oh my god, it has a sequel. Oh my god. And you buy this shit.
Yeah. I mean, it was
and
like
the steel teeth just close around your balls.
I mean, I chatted with my pops the other day and told him that they made more Dawn of War games because I think he only played the first one. He's like, oh really? Were they good? And I'm like, you don't want to know. He's like, oh okay. It was pretty bad.
Dawn of War 2 is still better than 1.
I like Dawn of War 1 because it's base building. I don't say Dawn of War 2 is a bad game. I just prefer Dawn of War 1's campaign, but I also like Dawn of War 2 because Dawn of War 2 and Dawn of War 2's Chaos campaign were really fun to play and co-op with a friend, because that's actually fun to do. And Retribution was alright, because the Orc campaign's funny, because the Orc guy's stupid, and he snaps the Inquisitor bitch's neck.
Yeah, blood tooth.
Said broad tooth. Alright. He makes a deal because he wants her hat. Put the hat in and you got a deal. Okay. He's got
Now, of course,
for the hats.
there's Company of Heroes 3, which... See, the worrying part is, I sent you the link to the Steam store again. It looks like Dawn of War 3. It does. Like, the style, the lighting, the weirdly kind of plasticky, cartoony visuals that are difficult to describe, kinda. Like, you look at it and there's something a little bit off in, like, the shader or whatever. Like, the helmets don't look like helmets. They look too green, in a way. Like, they look filtered. Yeah, it's difficult to explain.
It is, but it's also cursed.
And there is also if you could go to the screenshot. So the first screenshot, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 down, where you see the trench, and there's like a bunch of Germans fighting in the trench, and they're shooting the Brits, attacking them.
Fuck! I meant to put Company of Heroes. Yeah.
I sent you the link to the Steam page, you dumbass.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. The first picture.
No, the fourth one down. Germans fighting in a trench against British.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Fifth one. Like, you can't count.
Yeah, if you look at that one, you can see that it's photoshopped, like really obviously.
Yeah, we talked.
So
I do remember we talked about this. Yeah, this is actually photoshopped in post editing, because the game does not look like this.
And again, it's obvious because you can see like the shadows are weird. Like the Germans in the trench are not illuminated in the way that their shadows would suggest.
It's false advertisement. Like it's one thing to show in-game footage, but there should be a sticker somewhere that says, this is, prototype footage, or this is a concept of what we want it to look like, or something like that, a disclaimer. Because this is false advertisement. This is false advertisement. They edited this image, which is misleading. And I've got nothing wrong with like them doing like editing on their images, but I expect honesty. I expect it to be like, yeah, no, so we just touched up this image to make it look, cool. Okay, thank you for being honest with me. I appreciate that. Instead of them just fucking trying to slip this one by. It makes me mad.
I'm imagining, too, that this has to do with the fact that they've been switching up the shaders to try and make the game look less eye-bleedingly bright and cancerous.
Yeah, maybe. But I remember this, we talked about this image, I'm pretty sure in the first one. They're all kind of touched up. Like, all of these images aren't... Because both of us streamed, or that's back where you could stream. You recorded a video of gameplay with this, and I streamed this game too. And we talked about the visuals and the fact that the game doesn't really quite look like this. Mm-hmm. I think this one here is probably the closest. Image number 8 of screenshot number 13. That's the one with a bunch of British troops moving up into a town that's occupied. That looks the most honest, because that's what I remember the game looking like.
I am very scared that this is going to be a bad video game, because that'll make me very disappointed.
See, the thing is, Age of Empires 4 actually turned out pretty okay, and is actually doing pretty well and as the release has been going on. People enjoy it. The people who are fans of Age of Empires are happy. They got the game they wanted. That's good. Now it's our turn. Now, to be fair, Relic was working with another company. They did not develop Age of Empires 4 by themselves. They were supporting Microsoft in their endeavors. Because, Microsoft killed the Age of Empires developers by making them develop the RTS called Halo Wars, which murdered the studio. Layers at Microsoft. Murderers!
We'll have to see. Oh, also, now you can show up to what you want to joke about, the Pathfinder game, now that we've gone through my things.
Yeah, Rogue Trader. This actually looks
Rogue
quite
Trader.
exciting. I actually looked at the trailer and was like, actually, it changed my mind about it. I was like, oh, cool. Like, you can actually explore planets.
Didn't you promise to play Pathfinder first? Because I think you need to know what you're getting into here.
I think you've told me enough about what the Pathfinder thing is. Listen, I just
think
like
you're
Rogue
being very
Trader.
naive if you think this is going to be any different,
Like,
frankly.
For Warhammer 40k, like Warhammer 40k is a cool setting, but the thing that always attracted me to the setting was the Rogue Trader stuff. The Rogue Trader stuff is the thing because it's the 40k setting, but without the linearity of it. Because the setting is kind of linear. It's like you're part of the Imperium. You can only do one thing. Rogue Traders have freedom to explore the galaxy and do things. That's what's cool. They can break the rules.
Here now, is it?
No, they gotta break the rules. You can make alliances. I want my Tau waifu and my Eldar waifu. We should be able to colonize
That's not
them.
gonna happen.
Colonization.
They've only announced, I think,
Nice.
5 or 6 companion characters. And I will say this, because this is one of
One of
those
them's hot.
modern-day video game things where companion characters aren't allowed to be attractive anymore because it's the current year.
One of the companion characters actually that caught my eye was the one that looks like Celeste. Where is it? It's like the Navigator girl. And I was like, whoa, she's kind of cute. And I was like, I found myself going like, wait, I'm interested now. They don't have a woman that, looks like a potato. She actually looks like, there she is. Cassia figurine. Yeah, she's not bad. It's like a nice, pretty looking waifu. I mean, I didn't notice how long her fingers are. That's kind of creepy. But, it's besides the point.
Now,
The art
the
looks cool.
Navigator and the Sister of Battle both look decent. In fact, the Sister of Battle one reminds me kind of that Chinese artist I've worked with on occasion too. That makes really hot sisters
Oh, yeah.
art.
He's fantastic.
He is absolutely great.
There's
The other female characters, like the elf, looks
Arch.
like a fucking Karen. Like
Do
she's
you
not
have
great.
Do you have the Sister of Battle that he drew with the Arch logo on it? That looks really good. I forget where that is.
The Arch logo on it?
Because we can show it to
Yeah.
chat. Chat would love to see that. There's a Sister of Battle that he drew for you, and he put Arch's logo on like the sort of like the breastplate area. It
Did
looked
you do
pretty
that
good.
on that one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I remember seeing the logo and I was like, "What? That's Arch's logo." Yeah. Navigators have 3 eyes. That's why she has
I
a
know
thing
which
on
one
it.
you're referring to.
Or is it a navigator? Is it a navigator, chat? I don't really know. Is it?
Navigator, Astropath.
Whatever, same thing. Potato,
Pretty much.
tomato.
The black chick is androgynous and weird, which is again, current year.
I mean, one character in an RPG being kind of meh is okay. As long as there are characters I care about, that's the important part. Because for me, every RPG video game has always had characters I'm like, meh, I'm not bringing you in my party. I don't like you that much. You're not that interesting. I don't really connect with that character well. But then, as long as they got characters that I look at and go like, yeah, they're cool. Like the Sister of Battle looks cool. They got some like Space Wolf dude who's like, he's spurging out. It looks pretty neat. It's got
There's some
promise.
decent ones. And
Looks like
the succubus chick from their previous one, Wrath of the Righteous, she's a great fucking character and has a really, really cool story arc. Rarely cool for this day and age. The problem is, like, she's also only one of the only ones with a good backstory in that game, so yeah.
I would name the artist chat, but I simply can't speak Chinese, so I don't know. Unless
I literally don't know his name either because his name to me as email is in squiggles.
yeah, it's in Chinese, like but
Yes, and I can't write and read squiggles. I can't.
I don't even know how to type those
It's all
letters.
just squiggles to me. It is literally just squiggles.
Skull Nasher, I will nash your skull, you little shit.
All right, there is an arch there. Fuck.
I don't worship Slanesh. You sick
Slanesh.
fuck.
Slanesh.
Whatever. Yeah,
There she
yeah.
is.
See, I told you it has the arch logo. You didn't notice that? You blind
Yeah.
bat. I admired
But
all
no,
her
this
assets.
guy is great
Yeah.
for his art, and I've worked with him multiple times now. He's an excellent guy.
Fantastic work. Admire
Makes
it, chat.
very hot waifus, which is a lost art these days.
Before we put a pin in the BTR project, he was actually spearheading the BTR waifus. He did the Steiner chick, which you can find in our Discord under the Battletech art. We have it there, so if you want it, you can use it for free. He did the Draconis waifu, he did the Comstar waifu, and they look fucking awesome.
I still want to do this at some point, but it's on the back burner for my my third channel now, the big channel where I'm going to do history and lore and all kinds of stuff. The thing is, I have so many things I want to do for that channel.
Yep, it's gonna take a while to get all that stuff.
I sent you the Steiner waifu too. Like the Steiner waifu is great. Like, she is just excellent.
Yep, here's a House Steiner one. Really,
the man
well
has
done.
a rare gift for making attractive female characters. Very much so appreciate his abilities. Fine lad. I'm very glad for him that he will no longer have to play Blizzard games.
Did you congratulate him?
I should just send him an email like, congratulations. Like, what? No more Blizzard games. Problem is, I might get a return like, bitch, I liked that video game.
Blocks you. Takes it over. I'm sorry, it was a joke.
In a good way.
It was a joke, please. I'm sorry.
Listen, their video games are mostly shit.
Yeah, sadly they are. That's tragic. I'm gonna pull up the other ones too. They're pretty fucking awesome. And
but
this is the last
to
one,
finish the idea of like Rogue Trader, okay, so there's not that many. There's 6 companions. Sister looks great. The Navigator Psychic looks pretty great. The Eldar looks a bit too carne, but it might also be just a bad like angle in her picture. The Black Chick looks just weird. I don't like her. The Mechanicus dude looks whiny. Like he's got this pale face and these upturned eyes, and I just expect him to start complaining at me. And then there's a kick-ass Imperial dude who just looks like a badass, and he's got like a little iPad and shit. Like, look, I had an iPad before it was cool. Like you, tip. Also, they've got multi-laser batteries with the recoil, which pissed me off a little bit, but details. And the big problem is, it's made by Owlcat. And Owlcat has now made 3 pretty damn good CRPGs. Like Kingmaker was good, in a way. And Wrath of the Righteous, which was good, in a way.
I knew you'd say that.
And now they're making this. And oh my god. I can't play through their games because they just annoy the fuck out of me. They break me. Because they're really long, which is good. But it's also bad because they're all overtuned to high fucking heaven, and every encounter is a ball-crushingly difficult death match. Because she's like, no, this is bad. This is bad.
There's definitely an Eldar recruitable character. I see it.
I know. Have you not seen the companion page? Kyle, I thought you were looking at the companion page.
I was looking at the video.
Carl!
I was showing people art. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Chat, forgive him. He's a retard. Here, I'll send you their web page, okay? And scroll down a little bit, and there'll be like a companions tab where you can see them all.
Well, where is it? How come you haven't sent it to me?
I did. It's beneath the Steiner waifu, you blind fucking bats.
Wow, I can't believe you're so mean. Scroll down past something, and you'll see something.
Companions. About halfway down.
Boop. Oh, there's a little button there. Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. A little bit androgynous there. Maybe it's like an attempt at a tomboy. A failed attempt, but an attempt nonetheless.
Yeah, no, this is not how you make a tomboy. Like, just in case anyone is wondering, this is not how you make a tomboy. No.
Don't give him a Bieber haircut. That just looks stupid.
Yeah, no, like, you can absolutely have a tomboy with short hair. That's fine. But, like, the entire point of a tomboyish character is that she should look, how do I put it? Casual? You know? That she's supposed to look like she doesn't care being around the guys. You know? There's a kind of sexiness to it. And it's definitely not the modern day view of the tomboy, which is like the messy, dirty, filthy looking character. Like there is a very large divide between the interpretations of tomboys these days, and most get it wrong.
Yeah, but that's okay. Somebody will get it right one day.
Also, look at the tech brace. Tell me that that face doesn't look like he's just about to start complaining in your general direction.
He's like, actually, it's there.
Oh, I swear to Jesus!
Oh,
if
I
he's
triggered you. It's like that one fucking Warhammer book written by Gav Thorpe, who's like, so they refer to themselves as Zer and Zis or something like that, and it's like, oh, that's cringe.
Oh, thank God. No, he can handle himself in a fight if necessary. Thank Jesus. Actually, let me check the androgynous one too, just in case. She is less and less sure. Thank God. Okay, fine. I'm okay, right.
Oh, thank
Hold
God.
on, let me check the navigator too, just in case.
If that turns out to be they, Alt F4 right now.
Young daughter. Okay, fine. Yep.
Beautiful.
The
Wonderful.
thing with all... Okay. One of the things I actually really like with Owlcat, despite the fact that they must over fucking destroy you in every single encounter, is that they're actually very based in that they're completely neutral. Like, there's a bunch of little progressive things in Wrath of the Righteous, for example, but there's also anti-progressive things. There's a document, for example, which is a woman trying to summon a little demon imp thingy, and she's like, yeah, demons are great. They have a completely equalitarian society. Like, they're a community and shit. There's no nobles or classes or ranks. Yeah, I'm gonna summon a demon and we're gonna start the revolution. And then there's like, I summoned my demon. God, it's so great. We can be proletariat together. Why? Why is he beating at the door? Oh my god, no! ... blood.
Dead.
All cats are good fucking people. I like them. They seem to... They tread both sides, and you know what? I am perfectly fine with that. If they're like a studio with half of them being progressive soy boy eating cuckolds, and the other based boys, and they can just put both of their views in the game, I'm happy with it. And it never intrudes on the overall setting. That's the thing. It's in like side pieces of fluff books and shit, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that is good. Like, I genuinely hope. See, with companies like that, I'm always paranoid about, because it's like, oh god, please don't be weird about it. And it's like, they insert their little fantasies about their ideologies and set up their little straw mans, and it's like, oh. Like, the point of making an interactive piece of media is that it's interactive, and the idea behind the RPG aspect, especially video games and storytelling aspect, is that you do not tell them, the player, whether they're right or wrong. You just simply let the world, judge for itself. Like, some characters will react differently based on certain events, because everybody has a different view on ethics and, what they think is right and what they think is just. The world should react, not the game telling you you're a piece of shit. That's what I hated about Fallout 3 when you side with the Enclave. And like, the Wanderer, that fucking racist, bigot, murdering bastard, sided with the Enclave. That genocided the poor mute. It's like, oh my god.
Oh, chat actually points out the fact you can't kick out the half-orc paladin with the girlfriend's total BS, she literally becomes a coward. True. Like, that's the thing with all RPGs. It's that situation where you're sitting there, right? And you know the solution to this problem that the RPG is presenting you, and it's just to tell them something. Like, oh god, I'm trying to think of like a specific example, but like, there's in Baldur's Gate, I think, where you've seen the evil dude do an evil dude thing, and you get accused of that thing, and you can't just be like, yeah, but I mean, I saw who did it, and I've got like 6 friends to back me up on this. And the game should like, no, either, oh god, you can't argue your way out of this, you're gonna have to kill them all. Like, this is not the solution I would have picked.
Yeah.
That's and so you never do everything, which is the problem, but, thought Wrath of the Righteous was good, good overall. It had some niceties, and you get to be mean to the queen, who's like, "I'm a queen," and then you get to kill her and resurrect her as an undead, and that's fun. Like, you're my slave now, and then she's angry at you because she doesn't want to be, but she doesn't get a choice.
I'm a slave.
There's a lot of mind break hentai in Wrath of the Pathfinder, which I find amusing.
Wrath of the Pathfinder. Oh my
Yes,
God.
there's even a bit of cuckolding, which I am always all for.
Oh, you and your fetishes.
Listen, it's funny.
It's funny, he says. Oh, wow, yeah, I see the androgynous part. I clicked on the portrait finally for the Idira glass lady.
Took you long enough.
Like, that is a very... It's very boring design, honestly. It's, like, not very interesting, which is kind of a shame.
There's nothing particularly standout about it. It's just kind of there.
Like, let's go through the characters from left to right. We got the rogue trader who fills the shoes of the rogue trader. He's got that look. He's got that coat. You know, the big meaty coat over him. He looks regal, looks noble. We got the sister of battle. There isn't much to say there. Like, it's just...
She no. There is something to say there because she looks suitably psychotic. Like that little smile is like.
Oh yeah, that little smirk. Yeah, like she looks ready. Like she looks like a sister of battle. I'll skip over that one. The tech priest looks like a tech priest. He's gonna be mumbling in binary. Maybe whingy, maybe whiny little bitch. Yeah. Then we got the Eldar, or the Eldari. Sorry, I think that's what they call them now. And that looks like an Eldar. Disgusting. Abomination. Perfect. We've got the other abomination, sanctioned by the Emperor, of course, as all abominations should be. And then we have Idira, who just feels... she's supposed to be a psyker, but it's not, like, other than, like, the things coming into her head and the glowy fingies, like, it doesn't strike me as psyker. I don't know. Feels very meh on the design. Maybe it's the color palette. Like the green and brown cloak.
Green and brown is a very bad combination.
It's just, it feels very peasant-y. And that's not very interesting. Compared to everyone else, like Rogue Trader Man, well equipped. All these characters actually are very well equipped. She looks like a peasant. With a breastplate.
Yeah.
It feels a little out of place.
I hope they have dynamic pictures this time around, because they need more art, I think. They need more pictures, more stuff.
Those take a lot of time and money to produce, Barch. You know that now. Takes forever.
But I am capable of producing more art than them, so fuck them.
I
hold them to my standards, Kyle, not your peasant ways.
No, Barch. We're making dynamic portraits, and they take a while. Even AAAs are probably skeptical on doing them because they take a serious amount of time to do. And also, I kind of wish more companies would. Anime companies do it a lot more, actually. I've noticed that with, like, anime RPGs and stuff. They have all sorts of focuses on the a dynamic portrait, where they're reacting to different things based on the dialogue and conversations. That's really nice. That's a nice touch. It would be kind of cool if they had that in these games, but the problem is in these games is all the portraits are static. And what the dynamic portrait does is it helps convey the character's emotions so that we can focus on the dialogue. That way we can do a little bit of visual storytelling alongside the actual dialogue itself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to put in too many descriptors, and you can just focus on straight up what they're saying.
There's a thing, Kyle. There's hope, maybe.
There's a couple of upcoming Warhammer video games, you little fat chat. Like, thank you for calling me fat.
God, like the shooter ones, like, man.
Hold on, there's what's Bolter. It's called Battle Sector.
That one's been out for ages. You can't.
Chat said to look it up. Chat, you lie. I'm putting you on a pedestal, Black Raven, and you'll be beaten. He's like, but I'm delicate. It's like, well,
it's made with Slytherin, which means it's probably okay.
I mean, its reception is pretty high, 84% on recent, and out of 2,627 reviews, 90% positive. Are these guys
I could give it a try at some, but there's two big reasons why I'm not interested. One, Primaris Marines, and two...
Oh, yeah, never mind.
I really am a little Slytherined out. See, and that's nothing against Slytherin, by the way. Like, Slytherin has made Command Modern Operations, which is, I love that game. It's so fucking, I love it to death.
He does.
They made Field of Glory, and they made Empires, and they're making Field of Glory Kingdoms, another grand strategy with the Field of Glory combat system, the engine, and this one will have multiplayer, which means Kyle's going to play a campaign with me in that one because he owes me that much fucking Dota that I can pretty much just dictate at this point.
Wow. Dibs on the Eastern Roman Empire because I like purple people.
Well, it's the Middle Ages, Kyle, so they're going to be dead by that time.
What? They were alive up until 1460.
No, you can play the fucking Swiss.
Nah. I'd rather play the fucking Bohemia. It would be interesting.
Bohemia.
They start in Europe.
They're also the guys who released the combat mission games and Shock Force, which are also pretty cool.
Those are
but
interesting.
it's also Slytherin.
Yeah.
Slytherin is the king of the middle of the road.
Oh, what's the game called again?
Really are.
So I can pull it up for chat. Kingdoms. The one we're talking about with the set in feudal Europe and not antiquity.
Oh, I don't think it's up on Steam yet.
What's it? Where is it? Let's get it up.
It's on the Slytherin page.
The website?
Yep. It is on their website somewhere. There was the recent Starship Troopers game, of course, which is the only Starship Troopers game on the market, and so I must recommend it by default.
They are adding... Okay, well, Arch and I have been kind of critical of that game. To be fair to the developers, they've added in some new... I think they're adding some new missions. They also talked about adding in multiplayer, so they're going to be adding stuff to it. And while, you know, it isn't what we wanted exactly, it is not a bad game, though it's kind of has some, like, it does have some mission design problems, like the stealth missions, like, God fucking help me.
It is a very limited game, but I'll link you there, Field of Glory Kingdoms. So that one looks neat. I'm looking forward to that, because Empires was cool. It was lacking a lot of things. Because it was very clear that this was a kind of thrown together module to test out if people were interested to have a grand strategy element to Field of Glory. And people were. And so this time it looks like they're actually adding in a lot more stuff and mechanics to it. They're adding in a full proper diplomacy system. They're adding in religion as well, with dynasties and little characters and stuff. And they're adding in population numbers.
Ooh.
Now, I think the populations themselves are still reflective with little dudes you drag around, but your provinces will now have actual dynamic populations.
Is it going to be like plagues and stuff we have to worry about?
No, it's the medieval ages, Kyle. Nothing happened in the medieval ages along with diseases.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
No.
Christ, Arch.
And there's Broken Arrow too, which is also still coming out. That Warno game, which I'm still kind of hopeful for. Yeah.
Broken Arrow.
Slytherin. It's Slytherin. Okay. Yeah. It's just
their website's terrible. I'm sorry, but I just need to say that real quickly. Who made this?
They're making another like modern naval warfare simulator. Shadow Empire is getting an expansion too, which is that hardcore fucking retardo mind nummo deep game where you have to design your own aircraft and take into consideration the density of the fucking atmosphere to make it fly.
That's kind of great, in a cursed way.
They're also remember, Kyle. What other games they're making? They're making two games that I know you are probably interested in.
Slytherin.
Yeah.
Okay, I tried to think. I couldn't. Oh, they're making that Stargate game.
Yep, they're making a Stargate and a Terminator strategy
and
game. The Terminator one actually doesn't look bad.
Actually, let's look at the Terminator one first. Terminator. Yeah, no, it actually
the
looks
graphics
interesting.
look basic bitch, but the gameplay is, I don't know.
Terminator Defiance. There it is. This is an RTS. I'll pull it up for chat. This is some, it's like in-engine footage. I wouldn't call it gameplay, but it actually looks interesting. And you know what's funny? I'm looking at the gameplay footage here, and I kind of feel like it's almost running in the fucking... No, it isn't. But it almost looks... Some of the way the engine is handling stuff That helicopter crashing, that was actually kind of cool. And I do see infantry in the top of buildings. So can you actually put troops on top of buildings? But yeah, having a RTS set in the War of Resistance between humanity and the Terminators, it would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm holding out hope for that. And the Stargate one...
I'm skeptical. I'm worried about that one. Stargate is a fucking awesome IP. It's basically like, imagine Terra Invicta, but if it had a video game or a movie TV show adaptation, because it's about humanity encountering an alien species that is using humans as slaves and they're a parasite called the Goa'uld. And humanity has to invent technology to fight the Goa'uld and use diplomacy with races and basically wage an interstellar war. And eventually we build warships and spaceships, we colonize planets and build outposts and stuff. But that takes time. The show starts off with like small little exploration teams. It's pretty cool. It's a very cool setting. And the idea that they're making a Stargate like sort of tactics game is really cool. Like you have a Stargate team and you can like go through the gate and do missions. Like, that's actually really interesting. I've always wanted a game like that. And I'm wondering like what kind of decisions we'll be able to do here and what period this is set in. Because that could be interesting. Is it going to be... I think it's going to be the war with the Goa'uld, because I do see Jaffa and stuff like that.
Who knows? It looks like it might actually be a commando style game, which is an interesting decision.
Yeah, I do see stealth, because there's like a little caravan, there's some Jaffa, and you see like a dude hiding behind what looks like a box over there in the top left.
Hold on. There is actually a little gameplay snippet I'll send you, and... yeah, it's definitely commandos. Definitely.
If it's good, it's good. That does make sense. Like the commando style gameplay, because if it's taking place as you're a Stargate team, one of the SG teams, you're basically an elite team sent against, impossible odds. Like you are the elite of the elite. Not Stargate Universe where there's rejects. I fucking hate that show so much. It ruined it. But it's pretty cool.
That's a potential neat Cheeto.
But I hope you get to choose like missions you can do and stuff like that, and manage your team and whatnot, because that could be cool. Steal
doubt
tech.
It's a narrative story based experience, so I would imagine it would be rather linear.
Sadness. That animation for the little Jaffa walking there though hurt my soul.
It does look a pinch low budget, particularly considering like Desperados 3 and Shadow of the Shogun. I think that was the name of it. The Japanese one. Those were both pretty damn good, so meh.
Maybe, I mean, this is early engine footage, so I'll give them that. Yes. I'll wait and see. I would love to have a Stargate video game, but Stargate video games have a history of dying before ever being made. Because there have been many attempts to make a video game about this IP. None of them have ever succeeded, to my knowledge. Unless chat knows of one.
It'll be interesting. Broken Arrow 2, I'm looking forward to. It's looking like a larger scale Warno with more crazy
Broken
shit
Arrow?
and unit customization, which sounds very neato Cheeto.
That does sound cool.
I'll send you the thing here. So one of the really cool thing about this, so you got all of the military arsenals of like America, Russia. I think they mentioned China or something.
Okay.
And the really neat thing is, the units can all be entirely customized. So you can have an Apache helicopter with an anti-air loadout, or an anti-tank loadout, or an anti-infantry loadout, or you can have Bradleys with fucking javelins mounted on the roof, or Skyguard AA missiles, or the Bushmasters. Like, that sounds kawaii as fuck. And of course, there's also going to be the balance then that if you're going to mount a lot of crap on your thing, it's going to be dumbass expensive. So, there's a balance thing there. They've also got some interesting...
Visually, it looks quite good.
Oh, yeah, it does. They've got some very interesting potential mechanics. Like, I've seen helicopters, like, do the shoot and scoot, where they pop over a building and fire and pop down again. I'm hoping that's a gameplay mechanic, because that's something that Warno desperately requires, because the helicopters there just kind of sit there as the missiles come to their face, and like,
the helicopters have no... And Warno... Ugh. And Warno helicopters don't behave like they would, because realistically, helicopters would hop up and down, hop up, shoot something, and then pop out of sight before anything gets a chance to react to it, and then relocate. They'd be cheeky little sneaky gits. But in Warno,
that's literally why the Apache has the
hover.
Apache longbow has that enormous radar dish mounted on top of its propeller, is so it can peek above tree lines.
Yeah, and see over the top. And then it moves, and then to a spot where they're not looking, pop up, shoot, and then get low and do it again. And just keep doing that, being an annoying little harassing bastard.
Yep. So Broken Arrow looks adorable. Like, I hope it's good, because we need more war games, because this has been a field that basically has been solely occupied by Eugene. And Eugene, I love you, you little French fucktards. You've made a very cool little video game with a really fucking awesome engine. But your sense of balancing is very interesting, and you keep making us fucking mistakes again and again and again.
And they'll never stop.
It's like like an abused housewife or something who just never learns when to shut up.
Yeah.
The classic joke. Kyle, why does the woman have two blue eyes?
Goddamn Barch.
They had to be told twice.
Barch. No. Bad. Bad Barch. B-A-D. Bad. You are B-A-D. Bad. Fucking cry. Chat's just sitting there, dead inside.
This December will probably be decent. Now, Broken Arrow hasn't announced for December, nor is Terminator.
It looks interesting gameplay-wise, though. I'm watching the gameplay footage and showing it to chat. Like, that looks pretty solid. The combat looks interesting, like the way the map was. Now, I would like to see how the in-game looks, like Fog of War. Because the one thing that hurts me about Warno is Warno has no Fog of War view based on how it works, which I hate, because, like, what do I see and what don't I see? I never know. I have no idea what I see and I don't see. I hate it. I'm always at a complete loss.
Problem.
I would make those
There's
icons
hopefully
a bit
still some
smaller.
light at the end of the video game tunnel. But, right, we've gone over pretty much everything now, so it's time for Super Chats, Kyle. We have to move on. We have to finish our jobs as human beings on this earth.
We don't get to end, chat. We are only just beginning. Or stream still dies.
Let's see. Starting with Gunfox saying, Kyle, yes, I agree. Southerners cannot drive. Arch, most European truckers can't drive in dry weather, let alone in bad weather. Kyle, sounds like you had a day equal to mine. An idiot driver had the bright idea to run a red light and hit me. Ooh, damn. I hope you find it.
Sorry to hear, Gunfox.
Remember, sue him for everything he's worth.
You got insurance, right, boy? I hope he does, because he's going to have to pay, because he rammed you.
I think that's what we call assault with a deadly weapon, Gunfox. Remember.
Return fire.
If Alex Jones can pay $1 billion, you could be a rich man after this.
That trucker will be an immensely sad man. Like, are you poor?
Also, as a brief aside, whilst we're sitting here. Oh God, can I not do like the thing anymore? Alright, fine. I'll just send you this enormous giggle link then. Here you go. There's 27 minutes left, chat, on the Elon Musk poll of reinstating Trump's Twitter account.
Now chat knows what I voted for. No.
So if you haven't voted, maybe that's something you should consider. Especially as this poll has had some very interesting things going on. There's been a couple of fair and free election moments. One of which was recorded live, where he drops like 2% in like a second, and you see just an assload of votes just pour in. Yep, here's the one. I'll actually send you this one too, where you can see 64% to 55.9%.
And boop. Yep, they can see it switch here, chat. This is the new one on the left, and that's the old one on the right. That's quite the hop. Now, how many... problem is I can't... I wish you'd taken screenshots of, like, how many people had participated, because... But you can tell it's a lot, because it's 184.9 thousand likes. And that's how many people have pressed the like button. So the amount of people that have seen it are quite high. So it's probably in the millions at this point during the poll.
Yes. In fact, at this point, the poll is close to 15 million votes. So clearly this is a very engaging topic.
Oh, yeah. Maybe one of the most engaging polls ever on Twitter, to be honest.
I want to point out, too, it started out with like 70% in favor of Trump, and it's been shrinking ever since. As remember, Twitter is a rather left-wing platform.
And it's up to you, chat, to help change that. So get on there, you little shits. I don't want to be on social media.
I will talk for genocide today, Kyle. No. Down.
Listen.
Kyle, we're not on your channel anymore. You can't look at my little black character in Darktide and go like, your soulless face disturbs me.
Listen. Okay, you have no idea, chat. If you watch the Darktide stream where Arch and I were playing Darktide last night, and Arch's character, he made this little short black dude, and he's kind of derpy looking, and he's got a girl haircut, and there's a bald spot at the top of his head, so I was staring at it because I thought it was funny. And I'm an Ogryn, so I'm taller than him. But he also made his character super short, so he's even shorter. And there's this tiny little black dude, and he just slowly turns and looks at my character and looks at our screen and is staring like with the blankest expression of like, you know, it's Arch looking at you, but it's at the same time, it's like, it looks so soulless, and it's like this little tiny black face, and there's no soul on that face. The eyes are blank, the expression is empty, and it's like, that looks awful. I lost my shit. I couldn't stop laughing. It was too funny.
He's a racist, chat.
I stand by him. I'm not going to apologize. You had a very small, soulless little black face, and I can't stop laughing. Oh, I wish I had the screenshot of that when that happened. It's just like...
Go and fucking get it then, dumbass.
The odds of me finding it are so slim. If it happened...
The odds of you finding it are 100% so long as you're not a lazy little cocksucker.
Oh, YouTube reorganized our fucking stuff, so it's all over. Was it last stream?
Who knows? Gunfolks also says, so the idiot driver ends up on Yop of my fifth wheel of the truck. Your truck has 5 wheels. Spend 5 fucking hours in the medical center, cause illegals use the fucking emergency room as the normal doctors, and then I find out, yeah, you have CCP AIDS 10 days off, have fun. Fuck.
I'll never find it.
That is an awful day, my dude. You have my sympathies.
Big sad.
Big sad indeed. A tragic existence. Now would be a good time to insert an ad, would it, YouTube?
Let's see what Dev...
Every time is a good time to insert an ad.
Dev's whinging at us. Let's see. Dev equals female. Yes, very true. He says, I just rewatched the VOD, and they didn't even notice I rated. Says Dev angrily and a little bit homosexually. What VOD?
Just a little bit homosexual.
Watching this on times 2 speed makes me want to have an aneurysm. What are you talking about, Dev?
We've been busy, okay? We talked about video games.
I don't know if he's talking about...
looking at the video games.
I don't know if he's talking about this or if he's talking about something else. He said something about ISB earlier. What's ISB? ISB.
I don't know.
Oh my god, watching it on times 2 speed makes me realize how derpy the combat is. There you can see Arch's little character. He's small, and like every time I see him, I just think about his little black face now. Whenever I see the back of his head, I'm like, don't turn around. And then he turns around and he looks at me. And he looks at me with his like dumb little barch black face, and I'm like, oh my god. Look at him. He's so retarded.
There's so much racism inside of Kyle.
I can't stop. It just looks so stupid.
So John says, I heard Kyle was in a car accident. He could do a video series helping people drive in the snow. Call it something fun. The Heather Heyer experience.
Personally, I wasn't in an accident. Secondly, I don't
And
have
I
anything to
wouldn't
say.
trust Kyle teaching anyone to drive in the snow. Like, he doesn't even use spiked tires.
I'm not very good at spiking the tires, but I have never crashed, and I have nothing. I have no police record whatsoever, so I've never ever
You've never been caught.
I've been pulled over once, but that's because my headlight broke, and the police officer's like, "Where are you going?" I'm gonna get some pizza. He's like, "Oh, okay, have a nice pizza." I'm like, okay, bye. He also mentioned my light was out though, which I said yes. I know.
Never spoken to a police officer in my entire life because I'm white, Kyle. It doesn't happen to me.
Like, I live out in the middle of nowhere. He probably was bored and just wanted somebody to talk to.
Like, listen, I'm lonely.
I sent my audience to Arch's stream, Kibs. Low. And then he sticks his tongue out at me. He's like, "Bleh, what do you want me to do? Slap it?" And
Well, Dev, you should have said something so I'd been prepared.
Here, leave your tongue hanging out. I'll go get the safety scissors and we'll snip it off. Then try sticking your tongue out. Won't be able to make that anymore.
2300 says, Kibs, I have hydroplaned before. Hydroplaned, I guess. It's not too bad. Me and my car ended up in a ditch. I just drove off afterwards. You should drive a little bit more carefully when it's wet on the road, you turd burglars. Everyone can't drive cars. It's weird. My Lord the Possum says, Chinese gamers starting the China Civil War. At least they'll be prepared. They'll have trained for this scenario, Kyle, many times. Germ70 says, remember the Dark Knight? I do. The Dark Knight is overrated. There, I said it. And it's true.
Wow, oh my god.
It's not Captain Nemo level of movie, but it's not the immortal masterpiece either. Like, what's his name? Christian Bale or something? Was that his name? He looks a little bit weird. Okay? He does. Nobody's objecting. Good. Good. We're all on the same page here. Batman's gay. Glow in the Dark says, China isn't a paper tiger, it's a live grenade. The only reason no one in power will do anything is because the Western oligarchy invested heavily in China. If China blows up, so do many of them. That and many Wall Street people like the corruption. That is also a part of it, yes. It's a very nice and lucrative little thing to be pushed around and touched and felt up and milked. I'd build for China, says Chat.
I built for China. Oh, it's the General's construction vehicle. Yeah.
Yes. Even I know that one, Carl.
So good. Thank you for the new shoes. I just remember the GLA ones.
Thank you for the new shoes.
I will
work.
Made in the US of A. Generals is one of those Command & Conquer games that's really good, but unfortunately had a potato budget. As in, they didn't even get custom cutscenes until the expansion, and it's just a dude standing in front of like a green screen, but not doing anything cool. I want the Generals franchise to come back.
It's called an orphanage.
China will grow larger. Oh my god, Chet, yes, keep quoting the game. Generals has... See, that's how you know you have a good RTS. If your quotes from your infantry and your units are just memorable.
Because half of them are very stupid, Carl.
They are. They're incredibly stupid. Let's pop some tanks.
Master Outcast has almost finished the third book in the end times, and Malekith is so damn cool, and Teclis is a bit of a dick. It's because somebody in the GW office had a fetish for tall, dark elves, and decided to make him the God Emperor, which was a bit weird.
That is strange.
That is strange. Lord of the Possum says, hi. And did you hear that Commissar Sebastian Yarrick has died? Sad day for the Orcs. Yes, I heard they wrote him out of the story and didn't even tell us why he died or how he died. So I liken this to Disney's The Past Must Die. Another example of Games Workshop going, yes, these cool things. We can't make these cool things anymore.
Well,
so
Arch, listen, Yarrick wasn't black. He wasn't trans. He was a white man, and he had to be removed.
That he wasn't trans.
That's why we have Erda. So that way Neoth can be, you know... Erda. Erda. God, I bet Erda's not even a hot empress. Bet she's like a fucking ugly one. Like, you think the God Emperor would have, like, the hottest, like, fucking empress ever. Like, she would just be
No.
smoking. She probably is like, you know, a fucking whale and probably cucks him regularly to chaos demons.
So John says he quit The Witcher because he had to screw the Black Sorcerer. Well, you know, if you must, you must. Lucky Leo25 says, Kyle, you are not a boomer. Superman is a boomer property. His first appearance was in 1938, and boomers know the source of his power.
That's true. I don't know the origins of Superman, but I don't need the origin story.
The thing is, Superman from back then is a very different character to the Superman of now. Superman didn't start out with his powers. Like, he used to be just kind of cool. Like, he was resistant to bullets and he could, like, jump tall. But he was not the Superman of now. Like, the now Superman, it's basically been stated in the canon by the authors, like the creators, the gods of the universe, that Superman is simply as powerful as he needs to be at any given point to save the day. Like, that's it. Like, Superman has no theoretical power ceiling.
It was also one of those early superheroes, so it's very, what's the word? Like, they had yet to really define, like, power limits as a thing, and that was not really something they were particularly concerned about writing. And that sort of culture.
I'll point out, too, Batman started out as a fucking detective. Like, he was just a detective with a weird sense of clothing.
Yep, he did detective work. Because that was during the huge noir phase. Where everything was, like, about detectives.
Everything was
gritty
about
noir.
detectives. Yeah, everything was about fucking detectives.
I remember my dad and I listened to a lot of those radio plays from, like, the 50s about those detectives. And there's so many detective stories. It's not even funny. They're actually, some of them really are interesting, though. Okay, I will work. Chat, stop it. I can hear their voices when you do it. Ah, finally, a challenge worthy of my skill. Fucking, I love that tech priest. Oh,
Sudoku.
I can hear their voices when I close my eyes.
Lord of the Possum says, do you think Darktide would be better as a single-player game? God, no. It would make the mediocre combat even more mediocre. Blind 1917 says, Quick and Hail Archchrist, our Lord and Savior. Breed kips. Always. In the butt. It's the only way.
No.
Going in the Dark says, everyone is getting cocky because Russia retreated. They're experts at retreating. That is how they beat France and the Nazis. To be fair, yeah, that's true. Ukraine's energy grid is crippled and they have been cutting power to areas. I think everyone expects Russia to implode like World War One. I kind of agree, because I get the feeling that everyone is just kind of expecting Russia to just kind of collapse in on itself.
We're just waiting
and I don't
for it.
think it will.
Oh, God. Yeah,
Like, it's Russia.
The only way Russia will collapse in on itself if Russia makes it do so. The same way in World War One that Russia made itself do it, because Russians themselves destroyed their own nation.
Like, Russia is very used to hardship. Like, it's going to require something quite significant to make Russia begin collapsing properly.
I think it would require an actual insurrection of actual Russians to make that happen.
Yes, and Putin has worked against that for quite some time. Like, if you look into it, Moscow is a fucking fortress, but not to be defended against any external threats, but internal threats. There's like 1 million police officers in Moscow of the various branches, and there's even the paramilitary branch of their military, which is called something gay.
I mean, the Russians, they're not very good at coming up with names. Never have been.
Because I considered doing a video on this, but there's too little hard information because it's Russia and it's very secretive. What was it?
For the Duke. Let's go.
Volnyenia Policja, I think. Like, that is their, the military police alone in Moscow is 6,500 men, which is the military police. And that's part of the Ministry of Defense. And the Ministry of Defense, in turn, has control over another big-ass part of the army, which, what was it? God, I can't remember now. I tried to look into this a little bit, but it was too difficult to find good info on it, so I kind of gave up on that movie idea, video idea. But yeah, no, Moscow has a fuck ton of police. So the only way Putin is getting dethroned is if the establishment in Russia does it. Like, it's going to have to be an inside elite coup. Like, but the people are not going to rise up. They're going to get squashed right the fuck down again.
Yep. Putin has no qualms about killing his own people.
And unlike America, where people like Kyle, professional cuckolds, allow people to burn down entire neighborhoods, in Russia, if you so much see a group of more than 10 people at a time in the streets, the fucking police vans start arriving. Unironically, like every time there's even been a suggestion of a protest in Moscow, the police has been there, ready to take care of business.
Yep, they beat and attack their own people, and then they imprison them and haul them off. And sometimes they don't. They make sure they never reappear because they actively kill dissidents.
Russian jails are inhospitable.
They're meant to kill you or break you.
Unironically, like the Russian jails of today, they are the Russian jails of like 1940s and 50s. They're fucking ridiculous.
I mean, they're literally fucking criminal to even have those things. That is inhumane. Listen, at that point, you're better off just executing your people. Like, it's more humane to just kill them. I mean, have you seen their prisons?
I disavow
the American prison system is awful too. Like, don't even get me started on that. But the Russians, oh boy.
See, the American prison system serves a purpose.
It's for slave labor.
To have young men be butt raped by older men to hopefully put them on the right path. It's a very interesting jail system. I imagine the founding fathers were talking about this. So how do we do incarcerations? Well, I think anal rape is the solution. Very good, Jefferson.
That'll teach them. Like, I don't want to be raped. Do you want to be raped? Very good. Very good.
Actually, there's a fucking TV show that does this, isn't there? Like, there's an American TV show, I think it's called like Scared Straight or something, where they bring children into prison and have big black dudes yell at them, and it's like, wow, that works. It probably does too.
Are these actual like prisoners that they get to do that, or is it just like people actors?
No, prisoners.
I take it these prisoners volunteer for that, right?
How else would they do it, Carl?
Well, no. As in, like they
spontaneously just break out of their prison cells to yell at children.
I take it what they do to these prisoners is these prisoners, like, they're not like, you know, the real bad eggs. You know what I'm saying?
They probably are, but I mean, they do have an agreement with the prison staff to do this. Like, they get what their role is.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, but yes. I mean, hell, it's not even a bad idea. Like, because
it is actually
this
a really
is one
good
of the
way.
problems in America with a certain community. A lot of them idealize the idea of the modern day gangster culture, and the thing is, it's probably not quite as cool as it sounds. Like 50 Cent is he's no longer a gangster in your sense. Eminem, neither.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually a really good way to even get the prisoners to try to contribute to helping make it create a better society.
And I'm sure it blows off excellent steam to yell at children.
They get to yell at children and see them fucking like freak out, and it's like, yeah, maybe feel
I would
better.
like to yell at children. I imagine it would be an excellent recreation.
Oh, they do it okay, so they offer them compensation. See, they're doing it the capitalist way. Perfect. Extra rations or meals.
See, I do like that.
Free calls and reduced sentences.
I'll give you an extra slice of meatloaf if you yell at this little fucking child.
It's good incentivization, and it helps them improve society. It also teaches them to work.
Slices and I'll subtly touch his penis too.
Honestly, like, prisoners like that could be used for actual educational purposes for the younger generations. Having them talk to them.
Have systems like that.
Yeah, and tell them, like, yeah, no, I'm a criminal. I did these things, and these are bad things, and you shouldn't do that.
Alternatively, we can also go the Sargonian way. See, there was another super secret conversation in a super secret conspiracy chat between Dev and Sargon, where Sargon's position was that we should hang people in public, and Dev's position was no, we should electrocute them instead. To which I, of course, interjected with the reasonable third position: no, we should shoot them instead.
See, shooting them's quicker, and it's more ethical.
Yes, it's more honorable. I agree. That's why I said it.
Well, I was going for it's there's less pain involved.
Well, if you say so. I mean,
It
what if
should
they
be
miscut?
clean, humane, and civilized.
It should be honorable too. That's an important part of it.
But that's why
But
you have a firing squad.
The point of the conversation, beyond the humor, was that no, this is a oh god, what's the word? It's a scary measure. Like, it's something that shows you that no, this is a real consequence. You shouldn't do these bad things because you're gonna end up here. And it's something that the death penalty was supposed to do, but that it doesn't in reality. Like, the death penalty does not seem to reduce the rate of violent crime much, if any, at all. And it's probably because it isn't real. Like, nobody thinks no criminal thinks they'll get caught. If they did, they wouldn't do it.
But we can't have them be a drain on society. They're taking our money and our food.
Deterrent, thank you, chat. We have veered slightly off topic, but I thought it was important that you would know that Dev wanted to guess them.
Oh yeah, honestly, Russia's collapse will be a beautiful thing. But if it does happen, mostly because maybe we'll get rid of that fucking rape culture they have, where they rape their own like fucking soldiers. Like, it's fucking, some of the shit that comes out of Russia is just so awful. Russia's genuinely a fucking awful nation. Generally, we should have balkanized them, chat. We made the mistake. We let them become a federation. Gay, gross, cringe. I expect the balkanization of Russia to be beautiful. Bring back Muscovy.
Yep, I know, I agree. Novgorod and Muscovy must rise again.
And bring back Tana Tuva. What a proud and beautiful nation. Chat's like, Tana what? Tana what?
I will even volunteer some pieces of Finland to be parts of Novgorod.
Yes. Oh, yes, Arch, I love that. He's like, it is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Yep. More than willing. Finland didn't need that anyways. But, back on topic, for however long it'll last this time around before something interesting will pop up again. Mark James says, so, World of Warcraft is being shut down in China, but they still have Diablo Immortal. I wonder if it accepts Sesame credits for loot box. Yes, it's because that deal is with NetEase, whereas the license deal that ran out is Tencent. So that's why Diablo Immortal is still alive. Lord the Opossum says, Barch, save Dev. Kyle, why did you say that name?
Save Dev?
Why did you say that, Kyle?
Say Dev? Dev?
Save Dev. Save Dev.
Why did I save him? What do you mean? I'm the one who's confused.
Poor little dumbass. Mark Shame says, Anakin should have been the goody two-shoes and Obi-Wan the rebel, but he had to force in the foreshadowing. I agree, Booby-Wan should have been angry. He should have been more Booby-Wan-y. He should have been more like Obi-Wan from the TV series. Yes, that was the true Obi-Wan. The whiny, petulant reject. Tragically, it has become more difficult to trigger Kyle. He's given up too much of his beloved franchises. We shall start bullying his instead. Tale of Equestria. Damn.
I'm not going to respond to that.
Worth a try.
You little shit.
Elsie Sorana says, hey Arch, Wrack series remastered on Audible ON. I'd paid $60 for that. Never. Maybe I'll remaster it someday. But if I do, I'll do it properly, with full graphics. And that'll only happen if GW stops ruining their own series. Only then. Anything else would be a mistake. Yes. Anything else would be a defeat. Elsie Suran also says, "Hey Arch, you have a blank check and a mandate to make a movie and a video game about the Siege of Rax. How would you do each? A movie and a video game? Well, the video game would just... I think it would be a strategy game, almost along the lines of They Are Billions, but where you're playing the zombies. That would actually be pretty funny. You just have to, like World War One, but you'd have to send forward ridiculous hordes of men, and that's the only way to find it, because the enemy defenses are actually going to be ridiculous, but you're going to have to try and wear them down. You're going to have to try and outflank them, and whenever you do get a breakthrough, you're going to have to exploit it. You're going to have to keep reserves up. It'll kind of be like almost a management style game, but on a very large scale. You have to work in a little bit of a research tree, some kind of tech requisition, because, you know, got to gamify it a little bit, but that could be cool. You could also play from the heretic side, but that would be heretical, so no. In that case, it would just be They Are Billions, but you don't play as the zombies. There you go. Simple.
Play as the guard bros.
They're the zombies.
The guard bros are zombies?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Foolish.
You're talking about the traitor guard bros.
No. Kyle. Dumbo.
We're playing as the heretics? Barge, gay, and cringe. Get out.
Please excuse him, chat. He is retarded, medically speaking. As for the movie, see, you can't do it from the perspective of a guardsman because he'd be dead. You'd have to do it from the perspective of like a supply officer or something, because you'd need to see the various commanders coming and going, and you'd have to be like, the commanders would be the main characters. First, there's Zolka. It's extremely unsympathetic in the extreme. He's just fat.
Yeah, just do it like gods and generals. Like, focus on the generals and the characters there. That could work.
Yes. Send in another regiment and bring me another pie, Snorkels.
He's hungry. But what kind of pie is the real question.
You have to have that scene where they eat sloppily to make sure that everyone knows he's evil. Like, we'll copy the Denethor scene with the baby tomatoes. Like, oh.
I hated the Denethor scene. Mostly because, like, I love little baby tomatoes. But when I saw that scene, I'm like, it's gross. Like, just put it in your mouth. Don't bite in the middle. Nobody does that. You don't bite a baby tomato in the middle because it squirts everywhere. And it's gross.
Yes. That was the point.
Put the whole thing in your mouth.
Put the whole thing in your mouth.
Yeah.
Here you go, Kyle. I found your screen cap of it.
Nah! Okay, it's not right when he does it, thank God. It's just like, but you can sense the anticipation. Like, you know it's coming. Like, you're like, don't do it, Denethor. And say, I'm gonna bite the tomato.
And you also know that, indeed, nobody eats a tomato like this.
Like, it was a little bit too much. Like, the chicken, you know, ripping the chicken apart with his hands. Okay, like, I can see that. I get that you focus on the sound, but the tomato was like it was the step too far.
you can see that they probably retook this scene like 17 times, as you know, Peter Jackson was sitting there like sloppier.
He's like the actor plays Denethor, like, man, I don't want any more tomatoes. I'm tired of consumables. Because I think that's what they call it, or not perishable or something.
No.
What do they call them on? I forget what they call them on set. Where it's food props, and it's like, these are perishables or something. Like, they're gonna be gone because they're gonna eat them on set.
The director wasn't even in the room. Like, he was in a cubicle at the time, speaking through a speaker, and every time he could speak, you just hear little fapping noises, like dirtier. And yes, now a baby tomato.
No, Shasharine Fraud. No. If you do know people like that, you need to go beat them. You need to beat them until they stop eating tomatoes like that.
That's true. I think you're legally allowed to reach over the table and slap them if they do.
Educate them, just like, no. And like, okay. Okay. Put the whole thing in your mouth.
Arch holding the camera with one hand. Sloppier.
Sloppier. I imagine like you know how there's like the stage hands that help? Like somebody goes up and cleans his face off and cleans his shirt off, and they're like, do it again, and he does it again.
Yeah,
They're like,
do it again.
sloppier. And then the stage hand's like, oh, okay.
In the case of my movie with the Joker, there's going to be 1,000 half-eaten pies and apples, all with just one bite out of them as the retakes just never know. When you bite that apple, you need to think like a bad person.
I want to hear the crunch. I want to see the juice, you know. And then you get he does it right, but the apple wasn't juicy enough. It's like, do it again. We need to juice your apple. Use a needle, squirt water into the fucking apple to make it wet.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so the juices are just running down the side of his face.
It's like dripping.
He's leaning his face upwards a little bit. Oh, crunch, 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 crunch.
He spits it out as he's done eating, it runs down his chin.
He's talking whilst he's doing this, so you see the little pieces of apple being thrown around his mouth, and he spits out little pieces flying everywhere. Like, nah!
I feel like the actors are going to actually... The actors are just going to leave on set and Arch, I don't think we can't keep any of the actors sloppier.
Actually, I know the perfect actor for this too. It's got to be oh god, where is he? Let's see. I need to find him. I need to find the person. I need to find the creepy person. Yes. All right. That, but in a fat suit and with a lot more with a nice fat hangy chin, just droopy Yes. Let
me just steal that scene. Sing for me.
We need to Baron Harkonnen his ass. Baron Harkonnen from the movies, just floating, fat and disgusting.
I do love the Baron. He's so great. He's just a big blob. He's a circle that floats. And
there
you can't
go.
really be mad at him.
I think the question of how would we do the Siege of Rax has been answered, but in an unexpected and amusing way. Maybe, we should cut out just as he gets to the baby tomatoes. Just as he gets to them. It's we spared you that at least. Maybe just the promise of the baby tomatoes. Here. Since I was looking through my old art folder, because I found the Sister Battle, and I found the Dominions art. Some of this art is actually really good.
Oh yeah, let's open it up.
Boop. Carlos. That is actually very good. Dauni.
Yeah, Carlos is a great artist. We need to work him to the bone.
He did that creepy black and white style very good.
Oh yeah, it is good. This is back when he used to paint in that sort of black style. He's started to stop doing that lately on the recent concepts we have him do. He's more sketchy, which, to be fair, I think it's quicker. But these look nice.
They do.
Carlos is fantastic at understanding scene composition. We use him for storyboarding, Barch and I. He's really good at it. Just take a look at some of these.
I quite like the last one. That was at the point when my Bat people had actually really started to get rolling.
It was over for Kibbs. So this is from that Cursed Dominions campaign. I was trying to figure out how to make what do you call it, super omis or whatever.
Super combatants.
Because I was playing as this. These are the dudes I was playing as. This Japanese faction with demons, and I was making super onis, and these are my minions or whatever. And I was fighting Barch's people and expanding, and these onis could take down entire armies by themselves, and
they did.
But towards the end of the war, there were so many that my onis were outnumbered, and they were just overrun. It took hours, but they would be tired. They'd be fighting for so long that they would just get exhausted, and they couldn't fight anymore.
Yep. Literally, we had an art piece made of the last battle of the war where 3 Dai-Oni stood at the end. And I think they killed 300 of my little fucking bat dudes before going down.
That was the final stand at the Capitol. That was actually a really cool series. I did like how we actually had a narrative component to the series. Because it was it was this war between Barch and me. It was pretty cool. I lost. It would be sad. Stupid Zabalba. Stupid flying bat things. Stupid flying...
There was some cool moments, like, because to begin with, it actually looked really bad for us, because the your ally, the winged people, were actually raiding the fuck out of poor little Nerfy.
He was beating
Burning
the
his
shit
snake
out
people.
of Knuffles, yeah. He was in good. Sandy was my partner. And Sandy was trying hard. I was trying to experiment and create super combatants. And my experiments, I succeeded in making strong super combatants, but I didn't succeed in making, like, truly godly beings. They were powerful, but not powerful enough. Sadness.
Powerful enough. Eventually, Nuffy managed to turn around with the introduction of the super trouser snakes.
Oh my god, this picture, like, I can't even, like, I can't, like, this is derpy. My ally is the winged people, by the way, and they're attacking Knuffles here, who is Arch's ally, and they're derpy little worm people.
They're worse. No, Agartha kind of carried me in that one, honestly, because he got to the point where they just had the armies. When he finally broke winged peoples in the siege of just countless of these Agarthans fucking climbing the slopes. Oh god, that was such a slaughter too.
The Dominion series. I can't remember. I know it's on my channel still. I don't remember what the playlist is called.
You streamed
yours?
it properly. Means I did a lore style video of it.
Yeah, Arch did like lore edits, and what Sandor and I did is we did like recordings of our actual sessions as we talked about it, and you could hear the tilt when we started to lose though, because I do want to point out, like, oh my god, that was a stressful game. Because
it is.
I remember, like, in retrospect, looking back, it's one of those things, like, I remember this Yomi experiment, and I remember how cool this was. But I can tell you right now, guys, that I also remember how stressful it was, because I was reading literally pages of guides, having conversations with other Dominions players, discussing theories on how to create, like, super Yomis, or Onis, or whatever. And so I'm trying to craft these guys, and I'm putting all my resources of my empire into making these super warriors with the hopes of maybe having them be strong enough to beat Arch. And for a while we were winning. The problem was after even all that research, my research I didn't find out how to make the best one. I made a good one, a really good one, but it wasn't strong enough to take on the millions of bats that kept coming at me.
The millions of bats.
It was sad, and it was the end of the Kibian Empire.
See, it's a good memory, Carl, which is why we're going to have to do another one.
See, it's always fun to look back on those games, but I do want to point out that while Dominions is a really cool game in principle, it is...
It is a very stressful game when you're playing it.
So stressful. Like, we've played a lot of games with Dominions among our friends, and it'll test your friendships, because, like, if you're playing in a team game, it's even worse, because it's like, oh my god, dude, like oh, we put somebody in the ocean, and because they're an ocean god and they're like losing the war in the ocean, we're like, dude, if you lose the war in the ocean, like, my coastlines are not defended. Like, you have to hold. I cannot have a second front open up. My armies are stretched thin, and then we lost the fucking sea war, and it's like, I want to strangle you because I was winning my war and now I'm losing.
Yep.
I am now being invaded by fucking sea monsters.
Yep, the happy little sea monsters. God, yeah, no, we do need to do another campaign of this at some point, and I'm going to do another series of it properly, like, animated and shit. That would be great.
Have like a lore series, like it's almost like a breakdown of the battles, even.
That'd
be cool.
Definitely. Oh god, we do need to get that. See, okay. After Dota, that'll be the next thing I need to arrange.
That map was too big, though. I will say that much.
I think it kind of needs to be around about that size, though, because otherwise Dominions is very, like, lose one battle, lose gamey.
Yeah, but towards the end, like, I forget at what point, like, because the first couple of battles I actually win against Arch. But then once I started to lose because the numbers, because I was taking ground, guys. But eventually I just lost steam, and I couldn't make enough of these super combatants. And there's just so many fucking bats. Like, the bats can go around my armies. And so I'm just like, okay, well, fuck. Like, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. You can't stop them.
My bodybuilder bat bros.
I just have one super combatant surrounded by little retarded green dudes that are kind of potato. They're there to just absorb shit.
Your best bet would have been to switch over to more little dudes, but the issue is I did get enough time to get my blood economy up and running, and once I start summoning enough of those kitty cats, because the kitty cats are fucking monsters. They're angry neckos. They're angry neckos that fly.
Chat wants to know which Dominions is the best Dominions.
The latest one.
Yep. There's no reason to get any version besides the latest one, because the latest one's going to be the best. There are mods, by the way, if you're interested. There's a Warhammer mod that turns versus to Warhammer. There's Warcraft stuff. There's fucking... Somebody made a Command and Conquer god, where you can literally play as Cain as a god, and fucking use Tiberium magic. It's fucking weird, but it's cool. Like, you can literally turn the world into a giant crystal. I thought that was cool.
It was rather retarded.
It is an interesting game. Though, I will say this, though, because we do need to be a little bit honest. The user interface is ass.
Oh, yes.
The instructions and information
the
is
tutorial,
shit.
The fact that it doesn't exist. Like, there is kind of a tutorial, but there's several keys it doesn't tell you about that are very useful.
Yeah. So you're going to want to look up, like, YouTube guides that some YouTubers have done. There's some good tutorial YouTubers who are big into the series. You're going to need to use external media to learn how to play the game, because the game is not going to... It does not have good tooltips. It does not have good information, and most of the information you need is hidden. Yeah. Which, that's the reason why I don't actually recommend it to people, because until they add better tooltips, and maybe a fucking tutorial that actually works. Because that was
part of the charm is how inscrutable it is too, though. Because if you want to play Dominions correctly, that's cancer. Like, playing Dominions correctly is just cancer. It is actually just cancer. Because there are many ways, it's a very complex game, and so there are many ways to break it. Which is why, for example, we ban nations like Edomor, because fuck no.
It just takes too long for their turns to go. Edomor is a really fun nation to play in single player, but that's a single player game, faction.
Yes.
Some factions should not be playable in multiplayer, just because Edomor takes eons to play.
Yes, and they're also just unbelievably gay. Like, half of their rituals are like, everybody else's generals age faster. Hee.
It's like, my general is dying. He's like, I'm your Alexander the Great general. I've got great stats. He's like, oh, I feel so old. My heart's failing. It's like, no.
Yep. Because I've got to point out, too, this is a video game in which each and every single one of your soldiers age separately.
Oh, yeah.
And develop afflictions as they grow old.
Yeah, so your soldiers, every soldier, it saves the details about them. Like, I had one soldier who lost an eye in one battle. And in the next battle, you know, he lost a pinky.
Yep.
It tracks all. But he got veterancy, he's got better equipment now and all that stuff. And it tracks that shit.
Yep. It's fucking great. But that is also, again, why basically we agreed that when we are going to do this here at some point, but we need to balance our factions, because otherwise there are some... And that's another thing, too. There are some factions that just can't fight other factions. Like, if you are Edomor, for example, and you go up against a faction that has, like, level 3 priests as basic recruits, you're dead. You can't do a damn thing, as they banish your entire army of undeads in a single round of combat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is one of the unfortunate things. But oh yeah, and that's a problem. That is a problem with this game. Like, it is not designed to be competitive. The game has no balance, and that's makes the game extremely fun. But if you play it with your friends and you start to play PvP, remember this key thing: it's just a game. Whatever happens in the game stays in the game. Let it go. Okay, let it go, because I've seen many games. I've seen the salt, and I've been salty. Everyone gets salty in that game because you try hard in that game. Oh my god.
Which is also, again, why you need to curate the faction so that everybody has a chance. Because, my god, you can end up in a situation where you legitimately do not. And then you can hamper the more experienced players by giving them... Like, you don't even need to hamper me. I picked Shabalba as a normal thing.
Yeah, that's the guy I fought, and I died as Yomi. Now, I really like Yomi as a faction, which is funny because I normally don't like Japanese factions all that much, or inspired ones. Mostly because I just normally don't have my playstyle, but Yomi was interesting because they have super demons with, like, some okay-ish, like, infantry that's chaff, and their super demons are cool.
And early age Yomi, like, the thing is, too, if you gay them and you play on fear, then you hard counter certain factions. And middle-aged Yomi is incredibly powerful because they get all of those fucking samurai demons, which are just ridico. I remember I fought against them with Shibalba, the frog people, the middle-aged people, and I only managed to overcome them by just sheer fucking force of frog numbers.
Frogums. What did we play when we played against each other? Didn't we do middle age?
The big PvP, the me Nuffles versus you and
Sandy.
Yes, that was early age, and we had another game middle age. I think we played like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah. I just remember. I remember looking back on the game, being like, that was kind of fun. But then there's the other one. Oh, then there's that one. Oh my god. So, because we didn't curate the factions that one time, we did one game where it was like our animator from the game Arch and I are making, and Sandy was there, and some other people. But I remember that, like, Arch ran into Carlittle, the guy who drew this, and Carlittle was using glamour, and Bart's like, nope, I don't feel like doing this, and he just left. And so Robin's sitting there like, Robin had to take over Barch's faction. Barch abandoned us. You left us to die, and Pfeiffer dragged us down because he let the sea fall. You little traitor!
See? My dudes didn't go in the sea.
Yeah, but Pfeiffer...
That was Pfeiffer. Dumbass.
Yeah, but you should have been there to help. You left me. You left me.
Dude, Robin can't go in the sea.
Robin's new to this game. Robin's
no,
like,
glamour is one of those it's one of those hard counter abilities. Basically, if you don't have a faction that can deal with glamour, you cannot fight glamour.
God damn it.
Because what glamour does is it creates like mirror images of a character, and depending upon the number of mirror images, there's a percentage chance that you attack that mirror image. And since there's combat is turn-based, that means you waste an entire turn.
Yep.
And glamour usually gives you like a 75% chance to hit one of the illusions, and the illusions don't go away, which means that your enemy, before they even try to roll to hit you or for you to parry, they have a 75% chance to miss.
Yep. Carlittle knows that game too well. So, like you, he'll have to be playing a shitty nation for the rest of his life.
Correct.
Laughs at him.
And again, you Pangea.
I fucking steamrolled over hands. And it was going well, and I was sieging hands down. But the problem is, they were gifting him gems. And so when I did the battle to take his city with my godly massive white bull that I was going to cuck him with, like, we showed up and we entered the gates and we went into the city and there were demons. There were demons and demons everywhere. And I was like, no. I had hands down to his last fucking city, and my entire army was wiped out because stupid fire demons turned all my stupid minotaurs into fucking steaks.
Yep. It's also that minotaurs are not actually good at late game. Like, they're a rushy thing.
Yep. I should have attacked sooner. I hesitated and waited for my god to get there, because I was bringing my god to battle. Stupid.
You also didn't gay hard enough. Like, Pangea is all about the white centaurs. Just infinite amounts of white centaurs.
Oh my god, I steamrolled over that entire continent. I was I pressed past the siege city and was pushing into fucking little fucking Sketchy. That's what we call him. He loves that nickname. He calls it his slave name. I don't know why he does that, but that's because he loves it so much. And we pushed into Sketchy's territory. And fucking, god damn it, we almost won that. And then Pfeiffer lost the Sea War. and then it was over because then they were attacking from everywhere, every place.
Mm-hmm.
There are complicated war maps that we drew from like eons ago that I'll see if I can find it. I might be able to. Hold on. We drew out entire strategies and stuff we'd spend after sessions playing the game. Of being like, okay, intelligence on where enemy locations were, suspected enemy army locations from where our agents were reporting, and we convey that information to each other. And we're like, okay, this is the plan for an offensive on like the southern front on this continent. Like, it's so hyper autistic. Like, talking about it's more exciting than playing it. That's the best part.
Yes. Ironically.
It is one of those weird games that it's more fun to talk about what happened than when you're playing. When you're playing it, it's kind of fun and it's kind of cool, and you're like, okay, and then you're done playing it, and then you start talking about it with everyone there, and it's like, then it starts becoming more interesting because everybody's telling you all these things that are going on everywhere. It's like, wow, this is cooler than it should be. And then you hate it. You want it to burn. You hope the developer pays.
It is imperative that balance is had and that a little bit of detachment is had too.
Only a little bit.
But yes, that will be something for soon. Yes, we'll do that at some point. Maybe that'll be our Christmas gift. Kyle will have to... Okay, yes. Do that during Christmas so people can be nice and fucking depressed. Kyle, why are you so angry? It's Christmas. You don't understand the bats, okay?
My fucking bats.
Depress everyone around the holidays.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
before we end the stream, there might be an announcement.
End the stream, Kyle. The super chat's still to go. What the fuck?
Oh, no, I need to send you something. Okay, I was making sure you were going to end it. This might actually... One more side tangent. Oh, I didn't see that art. That's actually really cool. I'm going to pull that up for chat. Last piece you posted. What's that from? I don't remember. Is that my guy's head chopped off, you sick bastard?
No, that's a virgin. Because remember, my dudes get blood magic from virgins.
Oh, that's right. You're sacrificing
my bodybuilder
virgins.
bat people. My bodybuilder bat bros. They're all shit, by the way. Every last one of them is useless, and all of them are naked.
They just sacrifice virgins.
Yep, that's what they do. Day in and day out. No, we'll finish on the Elon thing, but first, Marty Shame says Babylon 5 is better than Stargate.
Babylon 5 is also a great show, but it's also shorter. But you should watch it. Babylon 5 is about interstellar politics and diplomacy and nations, coalitions, and stuff like that. Stargate's about basically an interstellar war and what humanity would be like in like the 2000s if we had to fight in basically using these Stargates, and it was actually really cool.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, shut up.
You should check it out. You will.
Gunfox61 says, Kyle, you must force Barch to watch SG1. This must happen. The price is too high for Kyle.
He will.
Kyle, twice your yearly wage.
Listen, I brought Barch. Barch is now part of our game dev team. He's helping me make a video game now. And now that he's my little slave, now he must do what I tell him. And part of your contract that we totally signed was to watch Stargate. For research, of course, and good story writing.
Twice yearly wage.
Research for good story writing.
Says Kyle would apologize for money, too. He would. He's easy.
For the right price.
He's a whore.
Listen, I gotta keep the lights on somehow.
Adoman says, I don't know why kids like Stargate Universe so much. It really isn't that great. Yes, I agree.
Balls.
It's a piece of dirt. Along the side of the road. Run over by bigger, better entities. Squatchhammer says, due to the sheer number of classic material in sci-fi and fantasy in ever-increasing numbers, when what is the primary franchise/universe took you from using similarities to be unique enough to achieve unique setting story? I don't know if I understood the question. What is the primary franchise to keep from using similarities to be unique enough to achieve unique setting story? Can't help.
Wait, say that again? I'm trying to think. But it's not working.
Due to the sheer number of classic material in sci-fi and fantasy in ever-increasing numbers, what is the primary franchise/universe to keep from using similar ideas to be unique enough to achieve unique setting story?
Okay, I think what he means is trying to avoid following other franchise tropes, right? In the genre of sci-fi?
Perhaps.
that seems to be what he's, I think, getting at. Honestly, it's not too hard. Like, most sci-fi shows don't really step on each other's toes. They sort of nod to each other, like, almost courteously. Like, they pay homages. Like, Stargate tips its head to Star Trek a couple times, and Star Trek tips its head to some other shows on occasion.
If you want to make Jedis, for example, just change a little thing. Like, make the Jedi and then have him wield a cast iron dildo instead.
Well, you can have, like, magic in your science fantasy universe, but just create a different system. Instead of the Force, make a hard-coded system, and maybe make it have some sort of different resource. I'm not going to say ideas because I'm holding on those for myself, but you know what I mean?
Cast iron dildo.
Without the dildo part. Unless it's a hentai game, then go for it.
Mark James says, you know what male superhero costumes need? Cod pieces. I don't know about that. How the hell will you know if they're happy to see you?
That's true.
Yeah. Like, Superman was very happy to see that man next to him. God, that must have been like, I imagine being the guy who played that and, like, watching this in retrospect and just seeing his dick just sticking out of the fucking trousers. Like, you must feel so embarrassed. Ah, poor bastard. Poor bastard, Kyle. I feel bad for him. Mark James says, negative Wonder Woman is the best mirror universe villain. Negative Wonder Woman. What? Is that the one? Is that Superwoman? Because Superwoman was pretty cool. No, this is something else. I don't even know what this is. YouTube doesn't, or YouTube. Google doesn't even give me a good one. I know that she's a furry in one universe. I know she's a lolly in another.
What?
Glow in the Dark says, being mainstream means having to be lamestream. By and large, yes. It's almost unavoidable, in fact.
Yep, that's why you should carve out a niche for your setting if you're going indie, sort of like what Arch and I are doing. You know, establish your own little community and just sort of, you know, be content, try to grow it, but don't abandon your community. Don't abandon the people who supported you.
My niche, for example, is NTR, and soon it will be Con's niche too.
Nah! I swear to God, Arch, if you try if there's any NTR in the lore, you're Neku. Snapu.
I've already come up with a plan.
He's gonna try to force it in there, that little fucking queer.
Bunnies and cuckolding.
You and your fucking bunnies. Your goddamn bunnies.
So John says, if they want the DCEU to succeed, get the writers from the 90s animated series to write the movies like they wrote the 90s stuff, and they'll rake it in. Unironically, yes, like the animated stuff for the DCEU has been pretty good, actually. Like, hasn't been bad at all. If they just did that, but live action and a bigger budget, it'd probably be pretty good.
Probably.
Lord Commissar Spartan says, down with the CCP. Burn me harder, YouTube. Now, let us not be cruel to our Chinese overlords.
They're not overlords yet.
I intend to have a fluffy pillow when they take over. It is a question of time, Kyle. The CCP.
We had that fan art from Giggles where it's fucking Arch just been like, I welcome our new Chinese overlords, and just like my mascot just wanting to kill herself. That's where we're at now, Tim.
It would have to be the Arch cat sitting on a big fat velvet fluffy pillow.
Damn.
There is an Arch cat, by the way. This exists. Mark Shame says, down with CN. Canada? Oh.
Good.
Down with Canada. Oh, well, I mean, Dev does live there.
They are basically United States, you know, territories.
Yes. We might have to down Canada.
America will grow larger.
Sir John says, the CCP are going hard on gaming is because they want to reduce the power consumption from the console/PCs. Sounds petty, but very well. Hell, we're going to have to do that too. As the power grows ever dearer. Soon Kyle will have to turn off his heating or die.
Fortunately, the water heating is not a Doesn't cost electrical. So it's fine to have water heating. I can have that on. Lights I can't, though. It's fucking dark in here. I can't see nothing.
Martin James says China made a lot of money from FTX. What was that?
Fun tricks and
Oh,
Xenos.
the crypto exchange, yes.
Oh, the
And I
crypto
gotta
shit.
say,
That's dying,
I
isn't
gotta
it?
say too, Arch was right. Arch was right, wasn't he, Chad? Yes, Arch was correct. Crypto was too volatile to be a decent fucking currency, wasn't it? And also, yes, the Democrats have been doing money laundering through Ukraine as well, and cryptocurrency. I have seen that too.
Wonderful.
Where apparently, okay, so the generalistic story is the US gives billions of dollars to Ukraine. Ukraine pays a company called FTX, which gives money to Democratic parties, and which gives money to the super PACs. So basically, the Democrats are indirectly funding themselves, or at least that's what it appears to be happening.
With the U.S., with our tax-paying dollars.
Yes, that is what appears to be happening.
That's why taxation is theft, chat.
Yes. Yes, it is. Lord the Opossum says, Chinese gamers starting the China Civil War. We can only hope. Glow the Dark, Blizzard will probably go ESG if China says no. Yes, but ESG too. BlackRock is starting to shirk on the ESG score. They're starting to think that maybe they have to earn money too. So, I don't know. ESG might be beginning to become less of a infinite piggy bank than it once was. I do hope so. Like, let's have ESG crash just when CD Projekt Red decides to go woke, because it'd be really great. Hey, but we did everything you said. Well, you shouldn't have. Bad timing. I want CD Projekt Red to be poor, Kyle. I want them to have to eat out of trash cans, Kyle, preferably.
My God.
I want them to have to rummage through them for salami. And be very happy when they find a banana.
God damn it. Every time you bring up salami, it brings up the conversation we had about fucking meat and how origins of words and etymology. Also, look at that fancy chat edit we have. Look at that.
Marcus James says Games Workshop still hasn't released Cathay in Old World or AOS. That's true. Hell, fucking the Old World project is still not really going anywhere. Like, how long could it possibly take to basically re-release Warhammer?
Well, that's because they're gonna remake it as Wokehammer.
Fucking ice bears. And they have ice weapons and ice bear, and they fight with ice spirits and ice chariots. I would like to drown the person who fucking made Nuke Kislev.
Yeah, because that's the problem. If you're making a nation in a fantasy world,
Look,
it's okay to have,
dunk.
like, okay, they have some ice magic stuff, but, like, give them other, like, a magic system, in my opinion, shouldn't be just, for, like, a culture, shouldn't be just, like, one thing. It's like, their magic is that they like ice and everything's ice. They have ice spears, they can summon ice bear demons, they can summon ice walls and ice stuff. And when it's cold, by the way. Did I tell you about the ice and the snow? It's like, oh God. Does their magic do anything else? Well, they have frost armor. Ah!
Retarded. God Fox says AVD China is a good guys to learn about China. I'm sure they are. I'm presuming that's a YouTube channel or something. Maybe it's a TikTok account. China bad. Dance music starts. Who knows? Could be. Mark James says Clockwork Orange is the future we live in now. Well, we're getting there. We're working hard. Old boy Aladdin. I played a bit of Dark Tide and I'm already playing on and off with the Aliens Fire Team. So I'm not feeling it as much. I'll just burn my money on Nike instead. Recoil jiggle physics. Yes. Nike, Goddess of Nike is a very good video game, Kyle, which we're going to have to show you.
Okay, send me a link.
It's a very good video game, which if I can fucking find it.
I'm dying of old age.
It's one of those App Store only games, so, you know, I can't play it. They're going to have to put it on Steam. If they put it on Steam, then I'll play it.
App Store only? It's a mobile game. Actually, the thing about mobile games is the advancement of mobile games will be actually a good thing for the rest of gaming when it finally happens. I keep saying that, and I stand by it. The age where mobile games will stop being a detriment is coming. There is a dawn, chat.
Yes.
Look at the chat, wiggling and
I'm
wriggling.
trying to find like a good example of the jiggle physics.
Hurry! Faster! My flesh is melting. Start fucking dying.
Okay, that actually works. Alright, that's the App Store, but they've got a little video of it there. And there's a part where the chick in blue fires a machine gun, and her ass shakes and
oh my fucking
with
god!
The machine gun. The game's entire selling point is big-assed, big-titted chicks with big guns. And you know what? It has done unbelievably well. It had like 10 million downloads in the first month. Because again,
it's at 1+
people
million,
are fucking simple. It's like big-titted, big-boobed, big-assed waifus firing weapons against giant robots. 10 million downloads. Sir, take my money. It's that simple.
It really is just that simple.
It's a shooter, though. Shooters are for gay people.
Is it a first-person shooter?
No, it's a mobile retardo shooter where you like tap on screen to fire a weapon. It's muy dum-dum, but such is life.
It's just a hollow shell to facilitate the simple thing that it was. It is. It's waifus
facilitate the simple
with
pleasure
guns.
of watching butts bounce.
Believe it or not,
bounce.
You like looking at attractive people. Whether, you know, well, personally I'm female, but I prefer female. No! I like looking at females.
Personally, you prefer females, okay. Well,
yeah, that's what I meant to say. Good, nobody got that.
Prefer. It's not that it's exclusive or anything, but, you know, you don't have a choice.
I mean, you know, dudes can have tits too, guys. Come on. Just like...
Kyle becomes more and more homosexual every day that passes.
Look at the nips on that one.
Mark Shame says, every time my guardsman shot a Terminator with the lasgun, I told my opponent his Terminator said, ow, my eye, to get past the 2+ armor save. True. It works if it works. Popatot says, trapped at work again, but at least it's ArchCast day. That is a good thing. It'll make your work easier. And it'll make your commander-in-chief or whatever you work under very happy when he comes in and hears the loud sounds of jiggle physics. Gun. Jiggle physics. Marcus James says, here, I'll pay to skip Dawn of War 3 and just go play Unification or Crucible mod for Dawn of War 1. Oh, you see, Kyle, she just paid you to pay Dawn of War 3. I guess it's official now then. The last hurdle has been cleared. Mark Deshamed also says, so how do you turn off the safety in stable diffusion? Is Google going to force you to keep the safe search on soon? I think they said they were working on a non-safe for work thing, but I don't think it's a feature yet. Gigatwin says, all praise the bridge god and long may his structure stand. Yes, indeed. The bridge god is the only thing keeping our wretched world afloat. Lord of the Opossum says, she is a handsome woman. Handsome woman, Carl. And Black says, hi, Opossum. To which Opossum says, hi, Black, how are you? To which he says, I'm well, how are you? I am good too, says Lord of the Opossums. It's snowing. Good. The snow is your friend. It'll only kill you if you stay outside for too long.
This is literally how they communicate every day. Like, whether it's Arch's streams or my streams, they do it the same way. Like, hello, hello, but they don't need to do it. Which honestly is something we should encourage, chat. I think you should take notes, chat, and learn from this. Like, maybe you should only communicate to each other through donations. Oh, okay, that seems pretty reasonable. Reasonable. I agree, chat. I think you should do that. Chat, don't fight it. Let it happen.
Dr. Shame says, at Kibbs, I think there were plenty of Stargate mods to include one for Sins of Solar Empire and Star Wars Empire Wars. Oh, he didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, I tried actually the Star Wars Empire War one while I was watching Stargate with the community in our Discord, and it's pretty good. They don't have the Galactic Conquest map, but I played as the Gua'uld because I love their fucking pyramid ships. They're so cool. Barch needs to try Stargate. Sit, Barch, come here.
No. Lord Commissar Spartan says, unrelated to literally anything you're talking about right now, but EDF is $20 on Steam, and all the DLC are half off too. It is a game where you shoot insects.
Oh, did you say Earth Defense Force?
Yes.
Earth Defense Force is awesome. I can't wait for the 6th one. It is just a silly, weird little Japanese game that Sandlot makes, and I honestly wish the guys that make Earth Defense Force, Sandlot, I wish they would actually make a Starship Troopers video game. It would be fucking awesome. Sandlot is like one of the few companies that could make a Starship Troopers video game. Lots of bugs. Give me a Starship Trooper dude. Give me a boisterous announcer commander dude. And just let me shoot bugs. Simple. I'm a simple man. I have simple desires.
Yes, you are a simple man. Average Estonian says, my controversial take, Elon Musk is a man we need but don't deserve because we need colony on Mars to break free from loonies. We can move to Mars later. We can have a Twitter house on it.
Move Twitter headquarters.
Like 1917 then says many things, starting with, I built for China. It will look real nice when it's done.
It'll look real nice when it's done.
Okay, I will work. That is what you want, and hi boog.
Is that what you want? You remember you have to sound a little sad about it. Okay, I will work. Because he's basically a slave.
The Shade Master. Look, I don't consider Antifa to be upstanding and legit US citizens. Why would I consider Russian gay ops to be legit citizens? Hashtag based Putin. Well, who knows? Maybe they are all Antifa. Like 1917 says, does it have to be so far? Like, see, I can't remember who had the once. Was that the? Does it have to be so far? Or was that the Chinese one?
Which one?
Spintool one. Does it have to be so far?
Does it have to be so far? Because he's fucking walking like he's the GLA dude. He's sad about
the GLA dude, yeah.
Yeah. Because he's not like the GLA build with literally just dudes with like little fucking shovels versus China and America get like bulldozers. The actual vehicles and machines.
Yep. You change your mind often. Carl.
You change your mind often.
There you go.
AK-47s for everyone. A little cheering in the background.
Yeah, I'll send these to Kyle because he remembers them because he played game recently. I played game 10 years ago.
Yeah, I've been playing through the CNC franchise again on my channel, but I've been modding the campaigns, and oh my god, they're so good.
Voice act, you little dirtbag.
The Brotherhood has entrusted me. The Brotherhood has entrusted me. Just spamming engineers. Going up. Clocked in. Let's build. That's the American guy. You can tell. It's very go get him attitude. Jihadi upgraded workers wear shoes. That was to allow him to run faster. Because the GLA builder is super slow compared to the American and the Chinese. If I remember correctly.
Maybe you don't. Maybe it was a figment of your imagination.
It'll be a one-way trip. Oh, it's a suicide bomber. No. Ready for a drive-by?
Suicide bombers. They were legal back then. Drivey says, not just their prisons, but there are constant stories of the Russian military, even before Ukraine, physically hazing new recruits and conscripts. Hazing to the extreme.
Hazing is bad, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Mark James says, Canada abolished capital punishment but has legalized medical assistance in dying. Yes, because criminals can still be productive members of society, but the old people need to fucking die.
Yeah, they must. I'm kidding. That's terrible, Barge. Canada's got some really fucked up shit, honestly. It pisses me off. We need to annex them.
Old people.
Listen, United States needs to intervene in Canada. Why? Because our Canadian brothers are being oppressed by their government, chat. It's an obvious justification to come in and protect them from themselves.
Glow the Dark says, how did Arch win in Dominions? Arch, I am the Batman. Correct. I am the Batman. Many Batman. The Batmen overwhelm the Horned Men. The Grizzly says, would either of you ever play a tabletop RPG? If so, which would you guys play? I'd recommend a basic fantasy RPG 3rd edition dungeon crawl classic, and then a bunch of alternatives to D&D 5e. So I'm presuming you mean in person. Well, maybe. But that's not going to be for a little bit. Guy's going to have to move to Norway and be poor. Paying too much money for too little food as he becomes sad.
Starved and shriveled like a husk. It's true.
A lot of Possum says, the playlist name is The Big Squeak. No, it should have been The Big Salt. Kyle was sad and salty. Mine
Big
was
Squeak.
better. Yes.
I think you're a gay boy, and you need to learn how to not be gay.
Black917 says, hi, Chloe. Lord of Possum corrects himself. The Big Squack. Of course, he needed to misspell it, because Kyle is indeed a dum-dum.
Big squeak. If you're not squeaking, what are you doing?
Black1917 says, Cain lives in death. And Glow in the Dark says, hi, Black. Kibbs lost because of bat flu in Dominion. Yes.
Basically.
Was that before or after the bat flu?
That was way before. That was like 2019, I think.
So we got ahead of the bat flu. The bat flu might have been caused by this.
It was basically Barch beating Jabal, or my faction was Jabalba. Like had I won, guys, I could have spared you the Woo Flu. I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. The next fucking awful wave will be when I lose again.
Sure.
To answer chat, who's just regular chat, Yuzumi is the name of that girl we interviewed that likes bananas.
Zumi.
Yeah, we call her Zumi, though. Yazumi. She hasn't started her own channel yet. Just like Pancake is called Viri. Or no, I got it backwards. Pancake is called... What's the name? They're fucking weeby names that get all mixed up. Oh, I can't even remember. It's Blue. It's all I can remember is the picture of Blue. Christ on a stick. Barch,
Yes,
do you remember?
correct. Fish sticks.
You don't, do you? I will scroll through my Twitter and see if I can't find it. Been posting too much crap about fucking random things.
Black917 says, they got the Rona, Glowy. The Bat Rona. Alex Hoffman says, hi, how are my two favorite weirdos doing? Well, Kyle's doing fine. Who this other weirdo is, I don't know.
Found her. There she is, Pancake. This is Cass. You know her too. She collaborates with Barch and me. She's the singer for our stuff. Voice actress as well. They have yet to start their channel. Barch and I will help them. Won't we, Barch? Won't we, Barch? Look at Barch.
Fish sticks.
Women grow fish sticks. Yeah, she became a fish stick instead of a pancake. But she's still in her pancake arc, though.
Glow in the Dark says, ha ha ha, Kib's yearly wage is 0, so 0 times 2 equals 0. Or maybe it equals 2. Maybe. Could be. Possible. Glow in the Dark also says, Kibbs lives off donations and percentages, which legally speaking isn't a wage. No, he receives a wage from me, therefore must pay me my wage. That is the only way this can be done. And then he can play Dota.
Barch will be punished.
Marcus James says, every game should have an R18 nude mod. Correct. And cuckolding. Lord comes a Spartan says, I am not represented. There are no femboys. It is the tragedy of your kind. But do not worry. Sudoku is the solution.
The only way.
Mark Shamed says, you owe me my $20 back for playing Dawn of War 3. I said no.
What is he talking about?
Dawn of War 3 more? More? Maybe this is a hostage situation. Maybe an X amount of money needs to be paid before Dawn of War 3 is not played.
Like you schedule the stream and like super chats come in, and if the super chat goal is met, the stream is deleted. It's a timer counting down to the, and it shows like the Dawn of War franchise. It's got a knife to its throat. It's like, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. I'll fucking do it.
More like I'll be threatening to take the knife away. And finally, Mark to Shame says, Kyle, opinion for Rise of the Reds mod for CNC Generals.
It's very good. They don't have a campaign yet, but I heard that they're working on a campaign, which custom campaigns for those modded CNC mod overhauls is amazing. Rise of the Reds is pretty good. Like, it's got really cool units, really cool explosions, like very satisfying effects. It's a good mod for generals, and it really spices up the multiplayer. That's my thoughts on it. Most of the mods for Command & Conquer are pretty good, though. Like Warzone for Tibson is fucking excellent. Keep your eyes on Ion Shock for Yuri's Revenge. That's looking like an excellent sequel to Warzone. Warzone spiced up Tiberian Sun in a way I didn't think possible. It's so fucking good. So good. Bart, you gotta try it. Warzone. So good. So explodey. It's lots of explosions and lots of violence. Fine. I'll enjoy it by myself then.
Yes.
Look at him. He's mad. He's blonde. He's the enemy of the state.
And with that, we are done and through all of the Super Chats. So, we can wrap it up there. Thank you all very much for watching. And thank you for your generous donations as well.
Thank you.
Right at the end, their little horse popped in too.
Oh, Toodles has been here, I think, for a little bit.
Is she?
Yeah.
See, okay. You know what we actually do need to do at some point?
Sure
we need to try
chat
and sync up everyone's stream schedules or know when people streams, because the passing on feature is actually kind of useful.
Pathing on?
Passing on.
Oh, yeah, it is. But we're going to have to take a break. Are you going to join tonight's stream, Bart, or are you going to bed?
I don't know. What are you streaming?
I don't know. I feel like we should do as much Dark Tide before launch so we can properly cover it.
Vomit.
But I also don't want to play Dark Tide. It's like that weird... You know what I mean? Like, it's that situation where it's like, we should do it so that we can get to the late game so we can comment on it. But, like, I don't want to.
Vomit.
Rocking a hard place. I think
vomit.
I think I'm going to force myself to today. Bart, you should do it too. You should suffer with me.
Vomit.
We can vomit together.
First
wait, no, hold on. We forgot one thing for the stream. About this stream.
That's right.
Yes,
Trump is the president again.
Yeah. I mean, yes. No, wait, no. Well, does it say that on his profile? His Twitter's back.
Yeah, well, it's not back yet, but yes. Before we wrap up there, the poll is over, and the people have spoken, says Elon Muscaroonie here, saying Trump will be reinstated Vox Populi Vox Dei. Kyle, what does that mean?
The tweet you gave me is unavailable.
It's not.
It's censored for me.
You're being a dumbass, Kyle. What's wrong with you?
Let's open Elon Musk's page. What the fuck? Maybe the link you typed in was edited. There it is, right there. The people have spoken. Trump will be reinstated. Vox Populi, Vox Dei. You little Latin son of a...
I know what that means, Kyle. What does it mean, Kyle? Vox Populi. That's the easy one. What does that mean?
Oh, God. Look at the top thing. That's cursed.
No, Kyle.
What
Does it mean, Kyle?
It means the voice of the people. But I don't know what Vox Dei means. The voice of...
It means people's voice, more correctly, but yes.
I know a little bit, like the idea behind certain bits of Latin, but not much. I'm not a proper Romaboo. I like Roman history, but I don't want to learn their language. I think it's stupid. It's gross and icky, and Latin's... Yeah. It sounds cool, though.
Vox Dei. What other words start with Dei, Kyle?
Deus Ex, God. People, God, voice of God. People? No. Voice of the people, voice of God. Yeah?
Yes, voice of the people, voice of God. So he's saying that the people's voice are God's voice, and therefore absolute.
Okay. Fair enough. I needed my hand held, but we were able to get through there. Day means God.
So,
Okay.
Trump is president again, and the world is right.
So what does Deus mean in context? Because Deus means God too, doesn't it?
Yes, but it's different about what goes next, because Deus vult is God's will.
God's will. Oh, yeah. So voice of God. It's like without the S.
Kyle is having a time of his life.
I'm just thinking about it. Okay, you should fuck up your shit. Well, that's interesting. No, you can't. You have to go to Twitter. Come on, follow ArchCast. ArchCast. It's like at ArchCast, I think is his Twitter handle. And then you can also follow me if you want. You know, wink, wink. And then our other friends there. Dev's back on Twitter too. Yeah, it's true.
That's true. But Sargon isn't.
Not yet. Right? Because there's a long approval process.
Oh, we'll see.
They said that they're going through all the people and it's going to take time. But they got to Dev now.
Has been special approved to be banned forever.
I wouldn't think so.
Not him.
See, after meeting Sargon and hanging out with him, he's actually a pretty chill dude. Very down to earth. He reminds me of my dad. He's very old. But he's a good guy.
That's a terrible thing to say, Kyle.
That's not a terrible thing. It means...
And with that final horrific insult...
No, with age comes wisdom!
Delivered towards my good friend Sargon.
Fucking Christ.
We will wrap this stream up. My condolences to Sargon for being insulted so ruthlessly. But such is life.
Oh,
Until next
whatever.
time, have a good day.